Chat room. Chat room. How are we doing today? Can you guys hear me? I don't know if I am coming through. And the thing that like really sucks. You can hear me? Okay, excellent. The thing that really fucking sucks. I will hydrate as soon as I'm on screen, Moth, I promise. Thank you for looking out for me. I think that Twitch, like, what is the word that I'm looking for? The response time. Like, the time between me saying stuff and you hearing it. Like, the lag, sure, but what is the word that I'm looking for? Delay. Delay is exactly the word that I was looking for, and it's such an easy word. I think that it's getting worse. I think that Twitch delay is getting much worse. And that blows. It's really annoying. Hell yeah. Dixon Cider came over to the Twitch side. Oh man, how are ya? Okay, guys. I don't have a lot planned today. I was thinking we would do dreading today because he has a few new yeah, latency is also a fucking great word for that. Also, hi Raikudo, how are you? Thank you. Let me here, we'll do this. I will hydrate for my boys. Thank you for looking out for me, Moth. Took the day off to rest. Good. We all deserve a day off every now and then. Slideshow Doxy, great. That's what I love to fucking hear. There's nothing wrong on my side. I'm not dropping any frames. My latency is great. My fucking, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck to do about it. I don't know how to combat this problem. Can you guys hear me the whole time? I genuinely don't know what to do. Was the starting screen like that? When I go to the starting screen, does it also have troubles? Yeah, Bird had this problem a month back. Twitch is dumping on you. Sick. That's exactly what I fucking want to hear. Y'all, Josiah and I have been just getting dumped on by life, dude. There's no... Oops, sorry. There so many things beyond our control are happening that just absolutely fuck us. And I don't know what to do anymore. I'm so out of patience. I feel like I'm gonna cry. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. The small camera was working. You can see and hear me okay? Like everything is working, like you can... Something with your webcam background on this screen that's not working right. But it's on this screen too. What the fuck, man? What the actual fuck? I don't even know what to say or do. I'm so sick of it. It's not just technology. Like every facet of our lives is crumbling in on us. And it's a bunch of stuff that's like really private that I can't fucking talk about. So I don't even get the satisfaction of like venting it to you guys and you guys being like, oh, we understand, or oh, that sucks, or oh, yeah, that's true that like life is dumping on you. Like, I just have to sit here and feel like I'm crazy and like bad things just happened to me. It's awful. Also, thanks, babe. Good to see you. Hi. I'm so frustrated. All I want to do is go sit and watch fucking South Park with babe. That's all I want right now. That's all I want today. That's all I want. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's choose what our, hi Dean. How are you? Please feel free to link your stuff. Let's pick what we're gonna watch today. Are you guys cool with dreading for today? I mean, I'd offer to listen to all your crap and give you sympathy or empathy, but stranger on the internet. Like, I would love it. I would love it if I could just fucking talk about what's going on, but I can't. Like, I literally cannot. I'm sorry you're dealing with what you're dealing with, Docs. Thank you. Like, genuinely, I'm sorry that, like, that's the kind of thing that gives me dopamine hits right now, but it is. Like, people feeling pity for me is what feels good right now, because that's how fucking shitty my life is right now. To be honest, like, I've never been happier with a romantic partner. I love my house. I love my kitties. Like, I get to hang out with you guys every day. Like, I have a lot that I need to keep in sight, right? Like, that I need to keep in mind to be thankful for. But Jesus Christ, I'm so sick of just being fucking constantly dumped on. And like, it's real stuff that is, I don't know, Josiah has it even worse than I do. Anyway, let's stop with my pity party, and we can watch some true crime and I will crochet. That's what's gonna happen. I'm sorry that I'm a no fun lately, that I have like no personality outside of smoke marijuana and crochet a thing, but like that is just, those are the few things that like I can fucking handle. And that's what's up. Would a wide dog cheer you up? I do like wide dog. I do. And I like you guys. And I'm sorry that I just like dumped a bunch of vague bullshit on you. What a shitty fucking streamer. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I love you. I can relate to a degree. I had to watch my dad die 18 years ago, and now my stepdad is going through the same. Fuck, man. I'm sorry. Also, yeah, I'm trying really hard to not say marijuana. I would love if you guys would scold me anytime I say marijuana. I would like to start saying cannabis instead. It is just what you're supposed to say. It's what it is. Calling it marijuana is part of a like a mexophobia thing. I just smoked a biff. Hurry up and catch up and get to fake knitting. Hey, I do real knitting. I do real knitting. Diener. I was going to scold you, but I didn't want to seem a dick. No. By all means, please do. Please do. I would hope that you would know by now that I want to be corrected for that kind of thing. Okay. Oh, fuck. I forgot to... Sick. We have a dreading thing right here. This is good. Everything's good. Stop, please. Fucking life. Computer. Everything. Nice. Okay. Oh, please. I'm doing my best. I'm trying to get the edge up. Properties. I don't know who Larry Nassar is, but that's what we're starting with. Nice. Jazzy herbs. I love electric lettuce. I also love disco biscuits. But no matter how bad I am, Dean, I still don't want to use harmful language. I don't want to, ever. So by all means, please. Please do. I am so excited. We're going to definitely watch the Roman Polanski one after this one. I hope you guys are into that because I'm psyched. I am fascinated by Roman Polanski. Okay, can I just get 3 readies in chat and then we'll get going? I gotta fix dinner, but I might be back later. Quadro-decker, 6 cheese grilled cheese, 6 cheese grilled cheese sandwich with sweet potato fries. Yum. I don't like sweet potato fries because I'm a loser who hates deliciousness, apparently. But I know how good they are to people who do like them, so I'm very happy for you. All right, we got the readies. Let's fucking go.
I swear to fulfill, to the best of my ability and judgment, this covenant. I will respect the hard-won scientific gains of those physicians in whose steps I walk.
Oh, fuck, I never fucking fixed this either.
As is mine
Son
with
of a
those
bitch.
who are to follow. I will apply for the benefit of the sick all measures that are required, avoiding those twin traps of overtreatment and therapeutic nihilism. I will remember that there is art to medicine as well as science, and that warmth,
is this the Hippocratic Oath?
Understanding may outweigh the surgeon's knife or the chemist's drug.
It is.
I will not be ashamed to say I know not, nor will I fail to call my colleagues when the skills of another are needed for a patient's recovery. I will respect the
I just need to count really quick. Left-handed cigarette.
Are not disclosed to me that the world may know. Most especially must I tread with care in matters of life and death. If it is given me to save a life, all thanks. But it may be within my power to take a life. This awesome responsibility must be faced with great humbleness and awareness of my own frailty. Above all, I must not play at God. I will remember that I do not treat a feverish heart, a cancerous growth, but a sick human being, whose illness may affect the person's family and economic stability. My responsibility includes these related problems if I am to care adequately for the sick. I will prevent disease whenever I can, for prevention is preferable to cure. I will remember that I remain a member of society, with special obligations to my fellow human beings, those sound of mind and body, as well as the infirm. If I do not violate this oath, may I enjoy life and art, respected while I live, and remember with affection thereafter. May I always act so as to preserve the finest traditions of my calling.
Sorry, Quinn.
And may I long experience the joy of healing those who seek my help. That is the Hippocratic Oath, the oath that all doctors must take in medical school before they are able to practice medicine. This oath, boiled down to its purest form, simply states that no matter what, they will help their patients to the best of their abilities. They will do everything they can to help others, and they will never purposely hurt anyone in their care. Doctors are meant to be the most trusted members of our society, given the nature of their jobs. They are supposed to be the best of us, people who we tell
not with ADD
to,
anyway.
who fix us from the inside out and send us on our way. The people we trust with our darkest secrets and our most intimate moments. But, as is often the case with positions of power, people that are attracted to those jobs aren't always so virtuous and often pursue that position with the want to harm others.
We might end up needing to frog the whole row.
Welcome back to another episode of Dreading. This video, like so many others on this channel, is completely demonetized as it features footage that has been claimed by other parties. If you would like to support this channel,
so really quick,
this full time, consider checking out the Patreon we have linked below. Today we are
also mine. If his gets demonetized, that means mine gets demonetized. Please take a look at the Patreon if you feel.
This topic was suggested by our subscribers Amber, Chantel,
if you feel like it,
and has been incredibly difficult to research due to the breadth of the stories that have since come out about Larry. However, we tried to piece his life and crimes together in a succinct fashion while giving most of the stories that have come out their own space. If there are any other videos or topics you want me to cover, please leave them in the comments below, or feel free to email me at the email in the description box. Lawrence Gerard Nassar.
Kyle, you okay
August
over there?
13th, 1963, to parents Fred and Mary Nassar. He was their youngest of 5.
Carla,
with 3 older
welcome.
brothers and 1 older sister.
Everybody make
Larry
sure that
was a
Carla
shy
feels
kid,
welcome.
never raising his voice and
This
always
was the
keeping
worst
with
time for you to
himself.
come to
Even the
feel
most joyful Mary of
to feel
situations.
motivated.
Many of his peers would state that he was awkward, never really
fucked
knowing
up my
how to
stitch
behave in
count
social
on the
situations
last
and would often
the
make him
last row.
uncomfortable with his quiet stares.
So we
He
might have
always
to
seemed
frog the
somewhat
whole row.
removed,
If
observing
people
the
sign my
world around him,
username
but
when at
never truly
conventions, you'd be
participating.
surprised
When
at the
Larry was
love
in
I
high
get.
school,
That's
he
very
wanted to follow in
fun.
his father's footsteps
That's very
and be an
fun.
athlete. His dad had broken records when he was Larry's
1,
age
2,
for his running,
3,
and
4,
after watching
5,
his brothers
6,
and sisters
7,
succeed in
8,
their own right, he
9,
felt as
10.
if it was his obligation to follow suit. However, despite his family legacy and his father's hopes, Larry wasn't naturally athletic. In fact, he was quite the opposite. Thankfully,
Are
Larry
you
was able
actually
to
a
switch
cake?
his
Because I'm about to
father's
smoke and
passions
that's going to
out
make
for
me
his
want to eat
brothers,
ya.
as his older brother Mike had
You might
become
not
their
be
high
safe
school's
here.
first ever student athletic trainer. Sports medicine and likewise athletic training
1,
were fledgling
2,
fields
3,
at the time
4.
Mike and Larry were in school, meaning their small school didn't have one. If an athlete was injured, they would simply have to rely on their coaches or even the school nurse. But Mike
5,
and later
6,
Larry filled the
7,
position,
8,
despite their
9,
lack of any
10.
training or medical knowledge, becoming their school's first and only athletic trainers. Whatever medical assistance Larry tried to give at this time would be that of a high school student with absolutely no medical
I
knowledge.
have to count the
or
shells
training,
after
but it
this
seemed
too.
that
Oh my
no one
god,
would
what an
question him. He
unfun
became a
beginning of
resource
stream.
for
I'm
the
so
sports
sorry,
teams on
everybody.
campus. And when inevitably
Does my
there was a
entire membership go
sports-related
to
injury,
you?
the injured party would be sent to him. A young boy
Or
who
does
could only
YouTube
really
take
tell
a
them
cut?
to ice
YouTube
the
definitely
injury
takes a
and tape
cut.
ankles.
Definitely
But being
takes
a
a cut.
student athletic trainer wasn't just about
But it
taping
doesn't
ankles,
mean
knees,
that I
and
appreciate it
elbows.
any
There was
less.
an added element of trust.
1, 2,
Oftentimes,
3,
Larry would
4,
be put in charge
5,
of stretching
6,
some of his
7,
wards out,
8,
pushing on the
9,
backs
10.
of their legs. So they could
There's
properly
nothing
release
that
built-up
any of you could
tension.
do that
He would
wouldn't
instruct the
have a
athletes he worked
service
with on how to eat, sit,
take
and
a
stretch,
cut of
so that
what
they
you
would be
want
in
to
peak
spend to
performance
support
condition.
me.
And if they were injured, he'd spend as much time as he could spare
Even
with
if you were
them,
to
massaging their
donate
ligaments
directly
to
to me through
exhaustion.
PayPal,
According to his own
there's
testimony
nothing.
and that of his brother, they were self-taught and read a lot of books on the subject matter, which allowed for them to then touch and
what did this
instruct their peers
Beatles
around
reject
them.
do?
In
We're
letters
gonna
his
find
family
out. I've
members
never
would
heard of
write
him.
on his behalf during his
1,
trial.
2,
They
3,
spoke about
4,
how
5,
seriously
6,
Larry took
7,
his job
8,
as a student
9,
athletic
10.
trainer and how he was obsessed with the position because he just wanted to help others. According to them,
Might just
he would
swap to
come home
Patreon
weeknights
then.
absolutely exhausted.
Yeah, whatever you
having
feel,
spent the
whatever
later
you
half of his
feel
day working
more
on
comfortable
athletes
with,
that came to
whoever
him
you would
hurt
rather
and injured.
give money
He
to.
neglected schoolwork, choosing instead to focus on the young teens his age who needed a medical
I appreciate
professional,
you either
but would settle
way.
for him. And it was in this role that Larry was first
1,
introduced
2,
to what
3,
would become
4,
his
5,
obsession,
6, 7,
gymnasts.
8.
Larry's high school had a
Okay,
small
we still
competitive
have a
gymnastics
disparity of
team,
2
and with the
fucking
rise of
stitches.
popularity
Why?
that gymnastics
Why?
had during the 70s and 80s,
Why did
the
that
team was chock
happen?
full of young women who piqued Larry's interest. Larry wasn't a particularly handsome man, and with his odd behavior, he had an exceedingly hard time getting to know women. But with his position as the athletic trainer of Farmington Hills High School, it was a completely different situation. He was in a position of power over the girls, constantly telling them what they should or shouldn't do when warming up, how to properly stretch in order to get a deeper split, and how they should practice in order to protect themselves from injuries. When he told a girl to do something, they would do it, no questions asked. And Larry
Messed up
loved
my
it.
project too,
There
and
was
it's
something
too
about
small, so
gymnasts
I'm just
that entranced
gonna
Larry.
add on to
The
it
amount
without
of
any
power he was
planning.
given
Yo,
over the
that's the
female
fucking
gymnastics
beauty of
team
crochet,
was no
hey,
more
is that
or
it's
less than
it's
he
pretty
had over
free
any other
form.
sport. But something about these girls
He looks like the
drew
guy
him
from
to them.
Big
What
Bang
it
Theory.
was,
He
we
does
will never know.
Howie.
But Larry worked with the team so often that at the end of the year, he was given a Letterman jacket to indicate that he was a member of their team officially. Nassar's obsession with gymnasts wasn't something that he kept to himself, or even isolated to his own high school. In fact, Larry had gone to other gymnastics training centers to speak to the coaches and other
I
trainers
think he's
about the
here.
types of medical care
Dix
gymnasts
Insider. You
require.
could ask it. I think
Hid
he's
his
on
lust,
YouTube
his
though.
medical intrigue and curiosity, posing as a young man who was interested in the sport from a purely scientific point of view. It was there he would network with some of the top coaches
So I'm just
in
gonna
the
frog the
area,
whole row.
showcasing his love for the sport and
Whatever.
making sure to always end by offering his time and skills for free. Unfortunately, most of the coaches and instructors who Nassar met took a liking to him, and though they initially turned down his offer to assist them in their gym while he was in high school, they found his interest in the sport commendable. In the following
Zombie
year,
underscore
Nassar
underscore
would be able
broccoli
to turn
shooting
to
star.
these men
Accept
to
my
get
love
jobs
in money
and
form.
opportunities that put
I
him in the
will do
position
that.
to
Thank you
abuse more
so
girls.
much for
If Larry
supporting
had
the channel.
abused
That's
his
so
position
nice
in
of you,
high
Zombie
school is
Broccoli. I
currently
appreciate
unknown, but
you.
given his lack of any actual medical knowledge, it is more likely
If
than
one
not
of the Beatles
that
was
on various
American.
late nights he had working with members of the team, he convinced them to let him touch and massage them inappropriately, with the understanding
Yeah,
that he was
chat,
only
give
doing it
hype.
to ease their
Give
pain
hype
or
in
to
chat.
test a new treatment he had just read about. In fact, because of his sheer lack of medical training, any time he would have placed his hands on another party would have been considered inappropriate.
Stop to
But at
by
the
my
very
lack of
least,
credit.
Larry was the
Don't
same
worry.
age as
Like
the girls he was
I'm never
working
gonna
on.
be upset
Larry's
with you
lust
guys if you
for young
can't
gymnasts didn't
support
subside After he
monetarily.
graduated high school, but he quickly became
I'm never
aware that
gonna
if he wanted to
be upset with
continue
you
to
guys
be around
if
them,
you
he would need to
can't
get an
or
actual
don't want to
education.
support.
No
Period.
longer could he come to gyms as a
It
curious
means a lot to me that
outsider
you guys
who
just
swore
come
they
and
were
hang out
simply
with me at
interested
all.
in the sport. He would
And
have to take steps to make
I
himself
just want you
look
guys
more
to know how
legitimate.
special
Larry
it
was
is to me
accepted in
that
the kinesiology program at the University
you guys
of
care
Michigan,
enough to
which
spend a
focuses
couple
on the
hours a
study
day
of
with
human
me.
movement. After successfully completing his undergraduate program, Larry enrolled in medical school
I just
at
think
Michigan
you're the best.
State. However, one thing would get in the way of his degree, and it
That
was
blurst
surprisingly
meme
the
kid.
thing
I don't
he
know
was
what
getting
you're
the
talking
degree
about.
for. Gymnast.
This guy
After
is a
Nassar had
grilled.
received his degree in kinesiology, he once again went back
Patreon
to
and
the
donations.
gymnast
I'll need
training
a
centers
credit
that he would
card.
frequent in high
There's
school.
also
This
there's
time with a
PayPal,
degree that
but I
said
feel
that
like
he
everything
knew how to
is
properly
just a
assess
lot
and treat the
easier
young
with a
girls who
debit or
worked out
credit
6
card.
days a
Hey.
week there. These gyms, despite turning out some of the best gymnasts in the nation, were small and humble, with only a few trainers on staff. Like he had when he was still in high school, he offered his services as an athletic trainer for free, setting himself up in the back room of these gyms, and at times simply observing the girls as they trained in order to, quote-unquote, better assess their needs. Now that he had a degree and some basic medical knowledge they could benefit from, gyms jumped at the chance to have Larry work with them. Having any sort of medical
Remember
staff
that
or
prime in the
trainer
top
on
right?
site
I
was a
mean,
huge score,
I
and
wouldn't
further
mind if you guys
legitimized their
remembered that
establishment.
prime in the
Gyms would
top
boast
right. I
about how they
wouldn't
now
mind.
had a dedicated trainer on site who would help with any serious injuries or ailments.
But also, please
Never
don't
mind the
ever feel
fact that he was
obligated,
still
of course.
very much not a doctor and shouldn't have been touching these young girls at all. No one seemed concerned with the fact that this man wanted to be around these girls so desperately, so much so that he was turning down actual jobs that paid actual money. Instead, they once again brushed it off as an academic intrigue in love with the sport. It is also said that despite Larry only being an athletic trainer at the time and having no medical license to speak of, he somehow managed
Hello,
to write
Piper G. How are
prescriptions for
you?
the athletes
Welcome.
he treated, often supplying girls with painkillers and other drugs at the slightest injury. When these teams would go to competitions, Larry would join them, choosing to pay his own way and rack
Everybody
up
make
a
sure that
considerable
Piper
amount
G
of
feels
debt to help the
welcome.
girls before the events. He traveled across the country with the teams, choosing to stay in the same hotel and on the same floor, just in case they needed further treatment, and was on call to them 24/7. The competition directors and other coaches also loved Larry, as he would make himself and his expertise available not only to the team he came with, but to everyone there.
That's
He would set
Sanford
up a
and
small
Son. I
training
meant to do
table
Benny
and
Hill,
medical
but this is
station where he
fine.
would work on the girls in some corner or hallway at the venue, and if they wanted, he'd look them over for free, fixing their ailments so they could get back to work. Again, he did this all for free, never once asking these competitions or the gyms he worked at for payment.
You had a rough day
Possibly because
too?
he had only
Ugh.
studied kinesiology
I'm sorry to
and
hear
not
that.
medicine. He wasn't a doctor, and far from it. Asking to be paid
Students were
might have
asshats.
caused someone to actually check his background
Kids are the
and
worst,
certifications.
man.
He had a substantial amount of knowledge revolving around the human body and how to properly get it competition ready. But more than that, he was attuned to how to fix things that had been broken. He used this knowledge to subtly talk down to the people around him, which in turn led them to thinking he had more medical knowledge than he did. He would often sprinkle in medical terms into places they didn't necessarily belong, with the idea that if he carried himself as a doctor and an expert, most people would believe that this is what he was. Because of his subtle but effective manipulation,
I have to
most
count
people
again. I'm so
believed him
sorry.
to be just a kind trainer
Doxy,
who
make
was
it easier to
passionate
throw
about the
money at
sport of
you. I'll meet you in
gymnastics.
Halifax.
The girls who Larry treated, likewise,
could just hand
seemed
me
to love
cash.
him because he was usually the only adult presence in their life that
1,
wasn't
2,
outright
3,
overtly
4,
abusive,
5, 6,
save their parents.
7,
The world of
8,
competitive
9, 10.
gymnastics was cutthroat, with coaches heavily regimenting girls' eating schedules, working them to exhaustion, and berating them every single day. These girls were made to fear their bodies changing, putting on muscle, and eating by the adults around them, and nearly every day they were told that they were fat, ugly, and pathetic. There have been multiple exposés
Hi, Mom.
done on the toxic culture of gymnastics, with multiple independent reports citing that almost all
Yeah, that'll
athletes in
complicate
the
things
elite level
once in
of
a while, I
sport have
think.
some form of eating
I don't
disorder,
know. I'm
have
sorry. I
self-harmed in some
appreciate
way, and deal with
you
some
giving it
form
your
of body
all.
dysmorphia from the verbal abuse that is thrown their way. In multiple instances, owners of these gyms would physically push these young girls under the age of 18 to their breaking point, forcing their bodies to bend beyond what is humanly possible, causing irreparable damage to them. Coaches were
1,
feared
2,
and not
3,
loved.
4, 5,
Training was
6,
grueling,
7,
never
8,
fun.
9, 10.
And in multiple instances, former Olympic level athletes have spoken about purposely injuring themselves so as to not have to do gymnastics anymore. Standing next to the coaches, Larry looked like a saint. He would present himself as kind, always wanting to help, and oftentimes would give the girls small candies to gain their favor. He seemed like the only adult present, save for maybe their parents, who would go out of his way to treat them with any sort of kindness, leading them to outright trusting him, and at times seeking him out. This was a disguise on Larry's part. The girls would already implicitly trust him based on the authority he had in the gym. He was their on-staff doctor and physical trainer. Not listening to him could mean further injury or hurt. But just getting the girls to trust him wasn't enough. They would have to like him and have to know that he was a good guy who cared for them. He was the guy who would sneak them chocolates when they were crying. He was the guy who would wrap their injuries so they could continue to train. And he was the guy who would give them massages in their intimate areas because he just wanted to help them. It was of the utmost importance that the girls around him liked him and trust him implicitly, so even they wouldn't know what he had done to them. To the girls he would assault in his small, windowless office, it would seem impossible that nice guy Larry Nassar
My hair
could
is
be
a
hurting them
fucking
when he was
whole
the
mess,
only
dude.
person who was being kind to them. Larry presented himself as the lesser of two evils, and for some of the girls who he would examine, it would take years for them to even realize that he had taken advantage of them, with some of his victims even defending him against the allegations before realizing they too had been victimized. Larry was providing multiple gyms with free athletic training, traveling to competitions on his own dime, and working with plenty of private clients all the while he was in medical school. Larry's insane schedule and his need to be around minors would prove to be too much for him, and in his first semester of medical school, he failed biochemistry. Thinking little of it and still not wanting to change his ways, Larry retook the course in his next semester, while still working closely with multiple gymnasts.
I have
And
no
once again,
idea
he
what that
failed.
is.
Because of his
Carla, I'm
failure to
so
pass
sorry.
biochemistry, Larry was now in danger of failing out of medical school. But Larry already had friends
Sorry,
in high
Seth the Duck.
places and had learned how to network his way out of issues, using the connections he had gained through his years of working with some of the top gymnast trainers in the area. He was able to convince the school board to give him another shot and exchange
Hi, Ravioli.
his
How are
original
ya?
4-year plan with a 5-year plan. The board agreed to this, with the added caveat that Larry wasn't allowed to step foot in another gym until he had properly graduated. They had determined he had been unfocused with his gymnastics work, and only should be allowed back into these gyms when he had a degree. Despite agreeing to their one rule, he did not even attempt to follow it. Larry continued to be a constant presence at the gyms in his area.
From the new Critical Role campaign. Okay, gotcha, gotcha. You are allowed to.
He would be there at all hours
You
of
are
the day,
100%
willing
allowed
to help
to.
anyone
We
who
just
so much as
we
stubbed
like
a
when
toe,
people check with the
offering
mods first.
massages and pelvic floor alignments that he swore would ease their pain. According to Larry, there were pressure points in the vagina that could send blood to various parts of the body, thus increasing the rate of healing. He would tell this to girls who would hurt their ankles, backs, necks, and everything and anything, and the girls would believe him because he was their doctor after all. At the same time, his devotion to practicing medicine on underage gymnasts, despite not being a licensed doctor, was paying off, as he had been able to get himself a highly coveted position as an athletic trainer with USA Gymnastics. He had somehow been able to network his way into this position before he was able to practice medicine, and was now part of an elite group of people who trained the upper echelon of athletes. Despite Larry
What a
going back on his word and
creep.
continuing to work as an athletic trainer in multiple gyms, he was somehow able to graduate from Michigan State and officially become a doctor of osteopathic medicine. With this doctorate under his belt, he had everything he needed to
My hair
climb
is
the ranks
super
of
like
the athletic
that.
training program.
Also,
Nassar
she's
began to
super
work in
like a
multiple
fucking
different
character that I've made.
positions
I
in
don't
multiple
I don't
different
like Critical
organizations
Role.
in multiple different capacities,
Which I know is like a
consistently
hot
rising
take.
up the medical ranks
I
until
don't
he was
blame
the
anybody else
absolute
for liking
authority
them.
when it came to taking care of young gymnasts.
So
He
I
became
was
the
unaware of
gymnastic
her, but
team
like
physician and
legit
assistant
that
professor
character
at
is just
Michigan
like
State
my
University.
vibe, and that
He
weirds
also
me
worked
out
at the
really
Crowley
hard.
Ranch,
I made a
which was
character
training
like that.
camp for Olympic
That's
level young
nuts.
gymnasts that didn't allow parents to be present, and he served as the national medical coordinator for USA
I am
Gymnastics.
never gonna
Nassar was a
cosplay anything
well-respected,
Critical Role
well-liked man with a
so
loving
much.
family who seemingly could do no wrong. But just like so many other people
Say
we've covered on
whatever,
this
James
channel,
Rock, say
Nassar's
it.
outward appearance and personality was meant to disguise the man he really was, and it would take multiple decades, 5 different investigations, and multiple women speaking out against him for his facade to finally fall.
5,
Before we go any
7,
further,
8,
the next
9.
section
What
of this
the
video
hell?
is going to include details of how Larry Nassar sexually assaulted and
Bruh.
molested hundreds of girls.
That's fair. I don't
during
watch it
his
as much as I
time
used
working
to.
as
Yeah,
an
and I
athletic
don't
trainer.
blame you if you
If
do.
that is
Like
not something
to
you are
each their
prepared
own.
to take in, please pause the video now and go to the description
Is
below.
it bad to say you look like the sexy
Timestamps are
aunt from a
provided
90s movie?
to
Nah,
skip
dog.
to other parts of the video, like
Thanks.
the interviews he did with law enforcement, his trial, and more. Any section of the video that starts
I saw
with a year
hentai once,
is going
cutest
to be an
I've ever
in-depth
put on a
look
chicken.
into what he was doing
You
and
guys
how
are the
he was
best.
using his position to harm others.
It's hit or
If you
miss,
feel the
probably
need to
not a
click off
terrible
the video
take.
now, please do so for your
Aw,
own mental
hi
well-being.
Mothman's aunt. That's wonderful that you did tell her hi
As
for me. That's
previously
awesome.
asserted, Larry Nassar had
I
been
hope she's
working
having
as
a
an
good
athletic
day.
instructor since high school, so it's impossible to know how he truly started abusing the position for his own sexual gratification.
Okay,
His
so
earliest publicly known sexual abuses occurred in 1990 when Larry was 27. Her name was Trinea Gongsar.
oh, it
and
was
she
just
10.
right here.
Larry
I
had
just
been working
did
at the
not
gym
do the
that
last
Trinea's
stitch on
mother,
the previous
Dawn,
row.
had started taking her daughter to. Trinea
That's what
was
we
an
did.
enthusiastic
Have
little
to frog
girl
that
who was extremely
whole
talented,
row
but
anyway,
like other
so
gymnasts her age,
that's
would often
fine.
injure herself trying to do the complex tricks being taught to her. Her ankles,
Wait.
knees, back, and hips were
No,
seemingly
because this
always
is a
slightly
shell
hurt.
row.
And Larry, the 27-year-old medical student, had just started to see her for her injuries. Before she would start her sessions for the day, Trinea would go to see Larry, who would help stretch her out in ways that wouldn't further aggravate her injuries. He would wrap her ankles and knees at times and send her back into the gym. But Larry's dedication to treating the girls didn't end when he went home. Instead, Larry provided his phone number to multiple girls and
I
their
just
parents,
realized
letting them know if
120
they ever needed further
is that
treatment,
divisible by
he would make
9?
himself available. Larry had turned his modest
It's
college
not.
apartment into a makeshift clinic where he began to see the girls outside the gym.
It
was
is
in his
divisible by
apartment where he
3.
would begin to molest Trinea under the guise of
By
treating
40,
her back and hip
obviously.
pain. He would have Trinea
So
lay
what
out on
is
his training
the
table,
big
stretch out her
issue
body,
here? Am I
and begin to
missing?
perform
I don't
what he
understand.
called vaginal manipulations. According to Larry, he could realign her back and hips through her vagina, which would ease her back pain. He also would state that there are many pressure points inside the vagina that could send blood to various parts of the body and accelerate healing. This was, of course, untrue.
This
He
guy makes
started
me
treating
so
Trinea when she was
sick.
just 10 years old in his apartment and would continue this treatment for years. Because of her age and his position in her life as a doctor and family friend, it didn't occur to Trinea that what he had done was anything near sexual assault. In her mind, he was too nice of a guy to do that, and he made it seem
Yeah,
like a
he's
legitimate
super
medical
ill.
procedure to her. It wouldn't be until decades later that Trinea would understand what he had done to her, and how he had molested her when she was only 10 years old. At the same time Larry was molesting Gongsar, he was likewise molesting other members of their gym. Sarah Turisti was a 14-year-old when she started being molested by Larry, when a previous rib cage injury started giving her pause. Larry used the injury as a pretense to,
I didn't know
on
anything
multiple
about this dude
occasions,
until
rub
now,
ice on
and
her bare chest and
he's
breasts.
so
In at
fucking
least
sick.
one instance, the owner of the gym, John Geddert, who later would also be accused of sexual assault as well as human trafficking, walked in on Larry's
Wow.
treatments and commented on the size of Sarah's breasts. Because someone had come in during the treatment and had seen what Larry had been doing, Sarah thought it must have been normal, that what he was doing had actual medical backing, but it still made her uncomfortable. On multiple occasions, after he finished rubbing ice on her chest,
Sorry, I have to
he
bring
would
this close to my
angrily have
face,
her get
but we're gonna
dressed,
be
refusing to
like
look at her.
actually
Turisti would
crocheting in a
recall
second, I
that
promise.
after, there was always a musty smell in the room, a smell she now recognizes as being semen.
Ugh.
As time went on, Larry got more and more confident in his actions. He began to realize that most of the parents and coaches around him relied on him solely for their medical advice, and no one was going out of their way to fact-check him. Most of the parents were already spending thousands of dollars each month on gymnastics training, and couldn't afford to go make outside doctor's appointments. Their only point of contact with any medical professional was with Larry, and if he could dress up sexual assault with enough medical verbiage, they wouldn't know the difference. Who were they to say that what he was doing wasn't a type of physical therapy? He was the expert after all. If he stated that he could fix someone's back by massaging their genitals, they would simply believe him. He was so completely trusted by the people around him that most girls didn't recognize what he was doing as molestation or feel at all uncomfortable. It also seemed that Larry got off on the fact that he was so trusted and valued in these girls' lives, and that their parents would invite him over for holiday meals and get him Christmas presents. After a bit, simply molesting the girls when they came into his office or home wasn't enough. He created a ruse where he told a small number of parents at the gym that he needed to use some of the girls for a school assignment. He asked if they would be able to drop the girls off at his apartment, to which they readily agreed. One of the girls asked to be a part of this research was Sarah Klein, and she was just 12 years old. He told Sarah that he wanted to compare the flexibility of cold muscles to warm muscles, with the idea that warm muscles would be more flexible. He then asked Sarah to do the splits, which she did. He then crouched behind her and measured with a ruler how far off her crotch was from the ground. After he had taken down some notes, he then led Sarah to the bathroom, where a warm bath had already been drawn for her. He instructed Sarah to get undressed and sit in the bath for 15 minutes. This was, of course, so her muscles would warm up. Larry would make a show out of not wanting to see her naked, and for the entire 15 minutes would leave Sarah in the bathroom with a small egg timer left on the toilet. When the timer would go off, he would come back into the room, ask Sarah to get redressed, and then have her go back into the living room, where she would once again go down into the splits. He once again measured the distance, and then told her, for a reward for helping him, he would give her a massage, and then would assault her. Olympian Jamie Dancher would also go on to be assaulted by Larry in 1994. According to Jamie, she was just 12 years old when she started to see Larry, and the abuse continued over a 6-year period of time. She originally came to see Larry for
What
lower back
timeline are we
pain,
looking at for
and
this
like
guy?
he
90s?
usually
I'm not
did,
sure.
He found some way to sell the fact that there was a vaginal massage that would cure it. According to Dancher, he would put his ungloved fingers inside of her. He would then push her hips back until he heard a pop. It's upsetting but important to note that when Larry would assault these girls, he did so without gloves, and usually without lotion. He would try to stimulate the girls and use that as lubrication, because in his mind, that was akin to consent. Him choosing not to use gloves
my
is incredibly
God.
important to state, because in medical scenarios, when someone is being properly examined by a professional,
This one is
gloves and
sick,
sterilization
y'all.
are key. No industry
I
professional
mean, they all
could work
are, but
without them, as
fuck.
it could lead to vaginal infections and misunderstandings. But because Larry wasn't actually trying to help the girls he was seeing, he would never wear them. This then led to multiple girls being diagnosed with UTIs, bladder infections, and more. By 1996, Larry had
UTIs
assaulted
are not
tens
fun.
of young girls, all of which had yet to turn 18. In some cases, Larry would record treatments he would give to these girls, stating that they would be used to properly illustrate his techniques, and were in no way meant to be sexual. But he was far from finished. In fact, he had just started. John Getter was the owner of the Twist Stars USA Gymnastics Center, where Larry worked out for more than a quarter of a century. He and Larry grew up quite close when they met at the Great Lakes Gymnastics Club, and a lot of the opportunities that were afforded to Larry were gained through his friendship with Getter. In most reports about Larry Nassar, it becomes obvious that
So
the
she just
reason
kinda reasoned them,
Nassar
that's
was
still
able to rise
30 years
ranks
ago.
and gain more power and influence in the USA gymnastics arena was because he was not alone in abusing girls in their care. While he might be the most known predator, he was far from the only one. John Getter, likewise,
Y'all, let's
abused gymnasts.
let's
who came
calm
to see him,
down.
Usually the
He was
same
indicted in
gymnasts who were
2016 on
also being
accusations
abused
ranging
by
from the mid
Nassar.
to late
We already
90s through
established
the
that Getter
2000s.
entered the
shit.
room at least one time while Larry was
Damn.
inappropriately touching and massaging a 14-year-old's
Damn.
breasts, and made a comment about their size. However, another woman would come forward and state that while she was being penetrated by Nassar's fingers in his office, Getter was likewise in the room, talking and making jokes. Another former gymnast would come forward later
fuck?
and state that in one instance,
These poor
Getter
girls,
had followed
when
her
they
into the
found,
locker room
like, when they
after
found out,
practice,
can you imagine what
thrown
that,
her up against a wall, and sexually assaulted her. He then told her to kill herself because she had done such a bad job at practice. She was
Jesus
just 14.
Christ.
Separately, Michaela Thrush spoke about how Getter likewise assaulted her, and in a statement directed at John, said, "Do you remember the time you got so mad at me that you threw me on top of the low bar, ruptured lymph nodes in my neck, gave me a black eye, and tore the muscles in my stomach? Well, you did, and that ended my career. You told me to kill myself, not just once, but many other times. And unfortunately, I let you get the best of me, because after you ended my career, I tried." To say that John was abusive would be an understatement. He made an environment that was so toxic, so absolutely ripe with
I'm
fear,
devastated
that none
for
of the
these
girls
girls,
who were
dude.
put in his care felt at all comfortable to tell him about how Larry had been assaulting them. They felt that while what Larry did was wrong, he was at least nice to them, and how Gettert behaved was not unlike other gymnastics centers in the nation. While researching Gettert and some of his horrific teaching methods, we found a plethora of other coaches replicating them and stating that he was their direct inspiration. For years, and it seems even now, mental, physical, and psychological abuse were just part of the sport. In 2021,
Yeah,
Gettert
Rosie,
would
I
be
didn't
brought
know
up on
that.
24 felony charges, including
These
14
girls
counts
deserve
of human trafficking and
to
forced
be
labor
repaid
resulting in
for their
injury,
broken
6 counts of human
dreams.
trafficking of a minor for forced labor, 1 count each of continuing criminal enterprise, first-degree sexual conduct, second-degree sexual conduct, and lying to an officer during a violent crime investigation. The last charge related to Gettert, lying to an officer in regards to his knowledge about Larry Nassar. Mere hours after being charged, Gettert was found dead in his car at a rest area off of Interstate 96. He had killed himself. As we go along, more men like Gettert,
That's poetic
who abuse their
justice,
position
hey?
over these young athletes, will make themselves known.
He tells
And it will
mother,
become
like he
all the
tells
more
these
clear
little
how for
girls
decades,
to
Nassar was
kill
allowed to be
themselves
left
like a
to his own
motherfucker. I was
devices.
about to say he tells motherfuckers to kill themselves. Not, he
In
tells little
1996,
girls to
Larry
kill
was named the
themselves
National
like a
Medical Coordinator for
motherfucker.
USA Gymnastics.
Ends
ahead
up
of the
killing
Olympics
himself.
taking place that year in Atlanta. The next year, he was hired
How
as
many
the
girls?
team physician
Lots.
and an assistant professor at Michigan State University. Larry came across to those around him as professional, if not a bit shy. He had once again carefully crafted a demeanor in
Two
order
walk
to
to the shed,
camouflage
one comes
his
back.
incendiary actions, as no one would
That's
believe that
sinister.
shy, helpful doctor and volunteer Larry Nassar would ever do anything to hurt anyone. His affiliation with USA Gymnastics and the Olympics further cemented his reputation, and as
Can
we will
you
show,
sue the FBI?
caused
I
multiple accusers to be outright turned
you can
away in
sue
shame for
anyone.
trying to make complaints about what he had done. The first recorded instance of a woman complaining about Nassar
I think
at
you can
MSU
sue
happened
infants.
just a year into his
Like,
tenure
I'm
there.
pretty sure
when
that
the
you
then
can sue
16-year-old
anyone,
Larissa
anything,
Boyce
any
came to see
organization
him
can
after
be
hurting
sued.
her
Oh my god,
back
I'm so
in the
sorry.
youth gymnastic program at the university. When alone in his office for appointments, Nassar would give Boyce vaginal massages once a week. It wasn't until a coach had pulled her aside when she was late to practice and asked her what he had been doing during their sessions when red flags were raised. At which point, the coach encouraged her to report Nassar to the university's gymnastic coach, Kathy Clages. Kathy Clages was a renowned gymnastics coach who had learned everything she knew from her mentor, John
She's
Gettert.
also
She
like the
likewise was
physical
also well aware of Larry
inspiration
before
for
he was
all
hired as the
Karens.
team physician, and was friends with both men who would later be charged for their crimes.
1,
Though
2,
Clages
3,
had a softer
4.
touch than Gettert when it came to training, and never seemed to physically assault any of her gymnasts, her ties to him and his teaching
5.
methods meant that Kathy was more than willing to turn a blind eye, especially if it meant further accolades
6.
for herself.
Ugh.
Much like
Ugh.
the case with Jeffrey Epstein, you simply couldn't be around Gettert without
7.
hearing the abuse he would throw at the girls, and that was something she was more than comfortable with. When Larissa
8.
Boyce entered her office and told her what Larry had been doing to her every time she saw him for the 4 weeks,
9.
Kathy defended Nassar, telling Boyce she must have misunderstood what was happening. Larry was a
10.
good guy.
Jeez
He had a
Louise.
family, he volunteered at high schools in the area, and he donated his time to helping girls just like Larissa. Why would he risk it all just to assault her? He wouldn't, Kathy stated. She clearly didn't get what was happening and was too immature to know the difference between a medical procedure and sexual assault. Larissa remained steadfast in her claim, saying that Larry had inappropriately touched her, going so far as to say he fingered her. Kathy began to get upset and, in a move that was seemingly meant to embarrass Larissa, called the team into her small office and asked them if Nassar had ever done the same to any of them. Clages made the entire team aware of Boyce's assault and the details therein, clearly expecting that no one else would speak up if Nassar had done the
Tell
same
me
to
they
them.
did.
However, another team member who was 14 years old at the time confirmed with
Yes.
Clages that
Good
she had
girl.
also been molested. She stated that Nassar had done the same thing to
Strong
her
girl.
multiple times over.
What a
and it made her
badass.
feel
What a little
uncomfortable.
fucking
After she had
badass.
come forward, Clages excused the rest of the team and then verbally berated both girls, shaming them for trying to ruin a good man's life because they couldn't understand that he was trying to help them. She ended by telling both of the girls that she, quote-unquote, could file the complaint, but there was going to be serious consequences if she did, for both Nassar and the girls. Both girls felt humiliated and stupid, and ultimately didn't file a formal complaint. Clages, for her part, states that now she doesn't remember any such exchange ever happening, but did note that after their conversation in her office, she made Nassar aware of what had happened. 2 years after Boyce had been shamed into silence, another athlete would come forward to their coach about what Larry had done to them. Christy Aschenbach was a track and cross-country runner who had hurt her right hamstring earlier in the year. She had been to 15 other medical specialists in the area before she had been referred to Nassar. She went on one visit, and much like he had been doing for almost a full decade at this point,
seeing women turn on
he
younger
molested
women
her.
for their
He told
essay
her that he
experiences
had his
is
own
the
way of
worst.
treating
Yeah, I
people,
feel like
and
that's
that
like
he needed to go inside of her to
almost
manipulate
as
her pelvic
diabolical
floor
as the
in
men
order
that
to
do
help
it.
with any problem she might be having. He insisted that most female problems could be fixed with his method, which is absolutely idiotic. However, because of his reputation as an Olympic doctor, she was inclined to trust him. But when he touched her, she knew something was wrong. After she left the appointment, she called her parents and told them what had happened. They told her she needed to speak to someone to report what had happened.
Yeah.
With that in mind, she reached out to the
This coach
assistant
should
coach
fry,
for the cross-country
absolutely.
team, Kelly Bird, who replied, "He's an Olympic doctor. He should know what he's doing." Kelly's outright dismissal of Christie's claims were enough for her not to want to pursue anything further. She was ashamed and ultimately embarrassed. Much like Kathy Clage before her, Kelly states she doesn't remember anything like that occurring. She was not connected to Larry in any way, and currently states that she would have reported any assault had she been aware of it occurring. A year after, another woman would come forward. Tiffany Thomas Lopez. Tiffany was a softball player at MSU who had developed lower back pain. She was likewise referred to Nassar, who immediately began to assault her. She felt incredibly uncomfortable and would often ditch her appointments with Nassar, giving various excuses as to why she couldn't make it. Her back pain only got worse as time went on, and while at a softball tournament, Tiffany asked one of the team trainers, Liana Hayden, if she would help her. Desperate for any kind of relief, she told Liana about what Nassar would do to her in their sessions, and how he said it would cure her back pain, and Liana was revolted. She immediately told Tiffany she had been assaulted, and that there was no medical reason for him to penetrate her. Liana told her to report Nassar to Destiny Tischnor-Hawk, who was another athletic trainer at MSU. After the tournament was over, Taylor did just that, but was told by Destiny that they could make a complaint, but what Nassar had done, in fact, had been a medical treatment, and that she was making a mountain out of a molehill. She assured Lopez that Nassar was a very accredited doctor who
What
knew what he was
the
doing,
fuck?
and if she wanted to make a complaint, she would have to be okay with ruining a man's life. Because of Destiny's assurance, Tiffany dropped her complaint, once again feeling embarrassed and stupid because the people who were paid to protect her had told her that she had simply misunderstood. 2 years after Tiffany had spoken to Liana about what Larry had done, another girl, Jennifer Rude Bedford, made a similar complaint to her. She talked about how he had assaulted her when she came to see him for treatment, and Hayden, unlike with Tiffany, told her not to make a complaint. She told her that it would make her look bad to file a complaint against him, seeing as he was doing nothing wrong. She would look like a liar who was crying rape. And if she wasn't 100% certain that it was a medical procedure, she should let it go. In response to
Okay, all the
claims
people
that
who
they had
call
actively
everything
lied and
gaslighting,
discouraged
this
girls
is what
from coming
gaslighting
forward and
actually
making
is.
complaints against
This
Nassar,
is what
Hayden,
gaslighting
currently
is.
working as an athletic trainer at MSU, declined to comment. However, in the 2014 investigation into Nassar, when Tischnor-Hawk was interviewed, she stated that she had never had a complaint about him in 17 years. 3 years later, in another interview for another investigation into Nassar's misconduct, she stated once more she had never had an athlete complain about Nassar. For every girl who complained and came forward, there were more who kept quiet. In numerous instances, other girls recalled talking to each other about Larry, who they sometimes referred to as the crotch doctor, and how he would touch them. if someone began to question the efficacy of what he was doing, another party would chime in, shutting down discussion. It was unfathomable that his pelvic floor adjustments were sexual to them, because that would mean they had been assaulted, and some of them were not in a position to emotionally handle that. Gymnasts who had been assaulted by him
none of them are. They're fucking teenagers.
Stating that any girl who thought that he was doing something wrong just didn't understand his procedure. It would take years for these girls to come to terms with what he had done and what had been done to them, and how thoroughly they had been groomed. While Nassar was making a name for himself on the MSU campus, he continued to grow bolder. He began to bring his work home with him, literally,
no,
setting up
18.
a workstation in the basement of his house
years away from
his
his
wife,
fucking
and
indictment.
at times having
Holy
gymnasts
shit.
come over for treatments. He had been able to make molesting girls into his full-time job, and he had even been able to do so in front of their parents. He felt as if he could talk himself out and get away with anything, and he was pretty much right. Kyle Stevens wasn't a client, she wasn't involved in gymnastics, and she didn't know Nassar as a doctor. Instead, he was a cherished family friend, who she would see every Sunday night for dinner. Usually, Kyle, her parents, her brother, and the Nassars would eat dinner together.
Oh, the name Kyle for a girl?
Kyle and her brother would go to their basement to play and watch movies. It was here where Larry would begin to assault her. It started on Sunday after dinner. Larry had come downstairs to check on her and her brother and asked if they wanted to play hide and seek.
I do not follow F1 racing.
Both kids agreed, and Larry volunteered to
I
be
think
the
it's
seeker.
neat, though.
Kyle ran into one of the many rooms in the basement and clumsily hid. It didn't take long for Larry to find her, but he pretended not to. He closed the door to the room she was in, pretended to search, and then, without warning, took his penis out and began to masturbate. Kyle was 6 and had no idea what he was doing. She didn't know if he knew that she was there, so she sat uncomfortable until he finished. After, he cleaned himself up and stated that if she ever wanted to touch it, to let him know. After the first time he exposed himself to her, this would become a weekly occurrence. He would give her massages, have her sit on his lap, and would often touch himself in front of her. She was unsure about what to do, but when she was in the 6th grade in 2004,
I am going to barf until I die from it.
However, they didn't believe her. Kyle's parents brought her to see a psychiatrist at MSU, Dr. Gary Stolik. He interrogated her and made her feel that she had done something wrong. He treated her like a hostile witness, and when she began to retreat inwards, he declared to her parents that she had simply lied. After her appointment, Kyle's mother and father spoke to Nassar, telling him what she had done, and he, of course, outright denied the abuse. He sat across from her and told her that if something like what she was alleging ever really happened to her, she needed to tell someone and be honest. Her parents apologized to Larry for their daughter's claim, and maintained that they didn't believe her. They would continue to go to the house every week, but after that, the abuse stopped. Kyle's parents would later realize that she had in fact not been lying. They would try to repair their relationship, but unfortunately, Kyle's father would end up killing himself, in part due to what had happened to his daughter and how he had failed to protect her. Dr. Stolik, who had outright called Kyle a liar, worked tirelessly to defend his MSU co-worker and would later state that he, like Kathy Clage and Destiny Tichenor-Hawk, had no memory of this encounter with the Stevens family. He would also state that when he had retired, he had destroyed most of his records, which is why there was no physical proof of this conversation ever happening. At this point, Larry felt truly untouchable. He had molested girls in front of his employer, he had touched girls in front of their parents, and he had been defended against multiple complaints by other staff members at MSU, and he had just effectively convinced a girl's parents that he hadn't molested her. Even
like, I mean, you wouldn't have to fucking kill yourself if maybe you didn't molest girls or let people molest girls. Then you wouldn't have to fucking kill yourself.
And he would only get worse.
Ugh.
One thing that Larry's defenders would often state is that his victims simply didn't understand what he was trying to do. They would downplay his touches and imply that his victims had dirty minds for even thinking that an adult man inserting his fingers into them was inappropriate. He was a doctor, after all, working to help them, and he got absolutely no sexual gratification from what he did. Just because he touched you didn't mean he enjoyed it, they would say. However, that defense would fly directly out of the window in 2004, when Larry solicited and received child pornography for the first time. When this fact was eventually revealed in court, every naysayer immediately changed their tune, and hundreds of girls realized that how he had touched them had been in fact inappropriate. He had just groomed them into thinking otherwise. At the same time as him buying thousands of images of child pornography, Larry began to abuse a 17-year-old girl who was dealing with scoliosis. Her name was Brianne Randall Gay, and after her second appointment with Larry, she went to the police. Brianne detailed what he had done to her, how he had massaged her back the way he did in her first session, then began to massage her butt.
Thank goodness somebody
According to her report,
old
he
enough
then
to
moved
know
his
that it
hand
was
to her
wrong.
crotch and began to massage her vagina, telling her that this would relieve her tension. He then inserted his finger into her for about 20 minutes. After he had finished there, he moved on and began to massage her neck. He stayed there for less than a minute before maneuvering his hands under her clothing and massaging her breast. He once again assured her that touching her chest would relieve all the tension in her back and butt, and continued to fondle her for 15 minutes. After the appointment, Brianne told her mother, and they went to the police and made a report on September 17, 2004. Unfortunately, much like the other times Nassar's malpractice had been reported, this report and its subsequent investigation were closed, as Larry was once again able to explain away his abuse as being strictly medical, and had even gone so far as to show the police a PowerPoint presentation he had made himself about the special kind of physical therapy he did. The following photos are that PowerPoint presentation as it was documented in the police report. Pause to read if you would like. Officer McCready,
I won't.
who was assigned
We
to the
don't need
case,
to. None
interviewed
of this
Larry.
is
He
real
was the one he had
science.
presented the PowerPoint presentation to. According to him, as stated on the official police report, Dr. Nassar advised me that he had indeed touched Brianne Randall in the perineum, applying pressure with his fingers as he did so. He further indicated that this procedure is a medical technique known as sacrotuberous ligament release. Dr. Nassar explained that the sacrotuberous ligament goes through the pelvic region, and in order to relieve lower back pain as well
I have
as
to
upper
pause
leg
this
pain,
for a second and
which the
address.
complainant, Brianne Randall, was experiencing.
Okay, so even if it wasn't intentional molestation, the fact that this treatment was making all of these clients so uncomfortable should have been a red flag. Should have been a red flag to anybody that was around that heard of. Let me put it to you this way: if a fucking dude is reported a second time for child molestation, everybody around them is an asshole. That's all there is to it. Everybody is protecting a fucking pedophile is what's happening, instead of getting him the help that he so clearly fucking needs. Ugh. Just fuck.
Due to her scoliosis, he was required to touch said region. He indicated
I'm gonna
that the
barf.
hamstring is affected, as well as the lower back, when this area is palpated. Dr. Nassar went on to say that this technique has been published in medical journals, instructing the same are available to physicians throughout the United States. He agreed to provide me with a PowerPoint presentation in which the medical procedure is explained in detail. After that one interview, McCready closed the case, informing Brianne and her mother that it had been a pretty straightforward medical procedure and she had misunderstood. After Nassar's
Oh my God,
crimes
Seth the Duck,
were
you did not
revealed,
sign
and
up
it
for a
was
credit
discovered
card
that the
just to
police
be
had been
able to give me
contacted
money.
multiple times about what
You
he
do
had
not
done.
have to
The
do
Meridian
that.
Township Police
Holy
Department launched a
moly.
full investigation as to why nothing materialized after this complaint. The reason the investigation found was that the police had simply taken Nassar's word for it. In response to the question of if the investigation had consulted any other medical expert about Larry's procedures, the answer was no, with McCready stating that he believed Nassar's lies. He then stated that he couldn't just
No
walk
medical
into a
procedure
doctor's
doesn't
office
use
and
gloves that
ask
enters
him
your body.
questions about
Also
something like this,
very
and went
fucking
further to
true.
state that it was not his
It's so
responsibility to do
dangerous.
so, but rather that would fall
No matter
on a
how much you
prosecutor if
wash.
this was taken to court, which it couldn't have been because McCready also didn't submit the
Roast
case
this
to the
guy? Oh, with
prosecution office.
pleasure.
Once
Okay, hold
again,
on, let me
Larry
pause.
felt untouchable, using just a PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, fucking no chin, but still somehow multiple neck. Really disgusting backwards, like inverted tooth smile. He's got an off-center nose. Those eyebrows they look legitimately like sickly caterpillars. The hairline on this guy looks like the outline of fucking Colorado, plus terrible tan, plus just busted disgusting face, plus no wonder you have to like steal it from little girls, because no woman in their right mind with vision would ever touch you. Boom roasted.
Presentation, he had been able to sell a police officer on the fact that he could treat back pain in women by molesting them, nearly no questions asked. Larry truly felt as if there was nothing that could stop him, and would continue to molest every girl that he could, knowing that he was protected on all sides. As time went on, Nassar continued to molest nearly every girl he saw, and on the road to the 2012 London Olympics, Nassar made it a point to molest every young girl who was on the team, including Michaela Maroney. Michaela had met Nassar at a training camp when she was just 13 years old, and he had begun molesting her almost immediately. He told her that his massages were meant to help her feel good and perform better.
Wait, can we have one more roasting? Yeah, all right. Yeah, I can do that. Give me 1 second. Let me pause.
Traveling with the Olympic gymnastics team.
I would love for him to have his big awful face to be here.
Given her a sleeping pill. However, by the time their flight had landed, the effects had not yet worn off. She was dizzy and completely out of sorts. And somehow, Nassar was able to bring her back to his own room. Michaela doesn't remember everything that happened to her, but when she came to, she was naked.
I need his face.
Himself.
I'm gonna do it, I
Michaela
promise.
And the rest of the team, who went by the moniker the Fierce Five, all felt as if something was wrong with how he was treating them, but they didn't have the exact words for what it was. Like Larry had counted on.
Whatever, pausing it. Like, obviously, this is the 15 minutes of the video that doesn't have his face. Anyway, like, legitimately fucking can't even get sleeping child pussy to touch you, so you jerk off over their unconscious body when you've drugged them. Like, legitimately would not touch you with a fake vagina on the end of a halberd. Wouldn't fuck you then. I truly believe that you would be an incel. Like, you are an incel. You just are what incels become when they get enough charm to talk to other disgusting, ugly Karens and pedophiles. Like, you are disgusting. Disgusting. Fall very ill. Get a wasting disease. You waste of fucking human flesh. Legitimately, your flesh, we should harvest your organs and give them to more deserving people. I cannot believe that you got to walk the same earth as David Bowie. I'm so upset by that. Okay, roasted.
Was assaulting were young and inexperienced. They had no concept of what a sexual touch was, and had been groomed into believing that Larry was doing nothing out of the ordinary. What they did know was that they just didn't like how he was touching them. The next day, Michaela told the rest of the team what had happened to her the night before, while the team made their way back to their hotel. Despite stating,
but do innocent people deserve this guy's organs? Absolutely, to do with what they please.
On the bus when this statement was made. The girls had just finished training for the day, and Michaela loudly declared that Larry had molested her the night before. She went on to describe in graphic detail what happened, and according to those present, fellow Olympian Alicia Sacramone scolded her and told her never to say something like that again. Michaela hoped that by speaking out about what had happened that someone would stop it, that Gettert would tell them that he had no idea and would pursue an investigation. But nothing of the kind happened. Instead, the girls began to talk amongst themselves, bonding over their shared trauma.
That.
Some still believed that what Larry was doing wasn't actually assault, that their bodies were sending them weird signals over a very common medical procedure. They didn't want to believe that this man they had known for as long as they did had been assaulting them the entire time, and pointedly shut down any conversation that even suggested what he was doing was wrong. Amanda Tomashow was 24 when she made an appointment to see Larry Nassar for hip pain. Her sister was a regular patient of his, and due to his reputation, she figured he would be best suited to help her with her sports injury. And like he had with every other female patient he saw, he molested her. Amanda was not like the young gymnast that he had groomed for years, though. She knew about his reputation, but didn't have anything to lose by telling him to stop. and the moment he inserted a finger into her, she told him to stop. When he tried to convince her that he needed to massage her breasts in order to fix her hip, she told him no. When he refused to listen to her, she forcefully pushed him off of her, something that no girl on record had been able to do prior. Amanda got redressed, wanting to leave, but Nassar blocked the door, refusing to let her out until she scheduled a follow-up appointment. He tried to defuse the situation and maintained that nothing he had done was out of the ordinary, but she knew better. She worried about her sister, and if she had also been touched this way. Wanting to leave, Amanda finally relented, scheduling an appointment that she immediately canceled. Amanda made the decision to file a formal complaint about what had been done to her the same day, realizing that she wouldn't be able to live with herself if something like she'd been put through happened to someone else. She called another doctor who worked at MSU and told him what she had gone through, struggling not to get sick the entire call. He assured her he would file a report with the right people and she would be hearing more soon. She also made a report to the MSU Police Department. The first report resulted in a Title IX investigation done by the school. Christine Moore was the woman who was placed in charge of the investigation, and once the details were relayed to her, she met up with Amanda and interviewed her once more. According to Amanda, the meeting was incredibly reassuring, with Moore seeming horrified at what was being told to her. Amanda recalled feeling heard, like they were taking her experience in the complaint seriously, which was all she had hoped for. On the same day as Moore and Amanda's meeting, Larry was being interviewed by Detective Valerie O'Brien, who had been assigned to look into the case for the MSU
Don't let
police
us down,
force.
Valerie.
Once more, Larry came armed with his PowerPoint presentation about his very particular type of treatment and why it wasn't sexual assault. However, this time, Larry was confident in himself and barely took the complaint seriously. He had already tricked the police once before and felt so confident in his ability to sell
He's tricked them
sexual
twice
assault
now.
as a real medical procedure that he themed this PowerPoint presentation after the show Star Trek, titling it Pelvic Floor, Where No Man Has Gone Before. To him, this investigation was a joke.
Apparently.
The following is the interview between
God.
Larry and O'Brien.
So I'm Valerie O'Brien. I'm a lieutenant back in our detective bureau. Obviously, it's been told you that I was going to contact you.
Someone was. I didn't know
Okay.
who or what, but I thank goodness, because I couldn't imagine that I was waiting, it's like,
Right.
somebody call.
Okay. Obviously, you come in here voluntarily,
Right.
because this is under investigation.
Right.
So obviously, I need to find out from you,
Right.
from your perception, your side of things, what happened.
Night Raven, thank you so much for
I've
the
got
follow.
it
You gave me
recorded
warm,
in
fuzzy
here, so that's
feelings.
what we do for interviews, so
Right.
just so you know, it is recorded.
Right.
But we do that for, most people.
His voice
At any time you feel you want to
reminds me of a
get out, walk out, my feelings won't be
just
hurt, okay?
barely more educated
so
Donald
I guess
Trump.
First, do you have a driver's license? Just to fully identify you. I recognize you by face, but
No worries. Do you need to get taken out?
thank you.
Do you need my faculty card?
Nope, that's okay. And this is your current address still?
Larry presents himself as nervous, which anyone would be in an interrogation like this one. He is hyper-responsive to her statements, agreeing before she has even finished her sentences, and leaning forward towards her, with his eyes mostly locked on hers, looking for reassurance. However, in moments of silence, when she writes down his information, he turns to his computer. Most of Larry's computers had contained some form of child porn on them, and he had willingly brought it into the police interrogation. He had prepared a slideshow to
Tell me
validate
that
the
they
decades
took it
worth of
away from
sexual
him.
assaults he had done, and he themed it around his favorite show, the facade that Larry has created of the meek, empathetic guy who wanted nothing more than to explain himself was entirely fake. Larry was incredibly comfortable in this space, and even when he appeared to be flustered, he was very much in control. This will only become more evident later on, when he would be interrogated 2 years later.
And then, do you have a cell phone that you prefer to be contacted at,
Yeah.
as opposed to me? When I called the house, I didn't say where I was from.
I'm sorry. One
Okay,
more
all
roast
right.
for free. I have to
So
pause it.
If I
I have to
phone-
pause it and I have to back it up just a little bit. Where was it? Come on. I can't. It's worth. Hold on. I'm doing this roast. I'm doing this motherfucking roast. I'm doing it. And you're all gonna sit here. You're all gonna sit here and let me do it. Come on. Come on, YouTube. We're doing this together. Oh, when you hold it down. Why didn't anybody ever tell me that you could hold it down? Look it. It's just a picture of Larry snuggling everyone who's ever loved him. Every pussy he's ever gotten by his own merit. Getting snuggled by Larry here. Okay, that's the roast. Boom, roasted.
Do you have a cell phone that you prefer to be contacted as opposed to me? You know, when I called the house, I didn't say where I was from.
Well, that's my wife's phone.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely fine.
I didn't know, so I just
If my phone, if no one's there, my cell is.
All right, and then I had sent you an email too, which you obviously can disregard.
Oh,
So.
okay. I'm not good at emails.
No, that's all right. Sometimes some people aren't.
Nice.
Some people aren't. So the reason for the delay in me contacting you is because obviously you know the mandatory reporting protocols on campus. No. Okay. So basically what happens is that it sounds like there was a complaint made over at MSU Sports Medicine, which triggers some mandatory reporting protocols.
Better think of something creative, James.
Inclusion is a mandatory reporter here to the police department. So they contacted me, at which time I had to wait for the
Good night, Dix Insider. Feel better.
Report to get back into town because they were out of town.
Oh, okay.
So I was able to meet with her today,
Okay.
which is why the delay. So I apologize for
No
that.
worries. Okay.
So obviously a little bit stressful for you
Just
because
letting you know.
you're wondering. And so what I also do is
See you later, Piper. Have a good
include
one.
to
Thanks for
kind of
hanging out.
Hold off,
It was good
so
to see ya.
speak, because I like to put any type of police investigation in front of an administrative investigation. But obviously, you probably feel the other is more important because it's affecting your employment.
Everything. Well, it's affecting her. That's not.
You worry your
I
computer
want to make sure
is about to
this gets
overheat.
resolved so that there's better understanding.
Oh.
Okay, that to me, everything else is irrelevant. It's really.
Oh, I hope so,
I
Piper.
feel like horrid that she would feel that way. And
Oh,
that's why I'm like, I gotta
as soon as
get some resolution.
I meant to ask you about your kitty. I meant to ask you about your kitty, but I got high instead, like an asshole. If you have a second still and will update me on your kitty, I've been worried.
What is your status then? And
But if you have to go, then by no hard feelings whatsoever.
That's fine.
So what is your? I called the office earlier. Again, I didn't say who I was, but they had said you were out of the office for 5.5 weeks. So I assume.
That was the dean to make sure that until this investigation was over.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's appropriate. That's understandable. And
Okay.
understandable.
Hi, Sharkstar. How are you?
Research right now. So he said, go do your research. I'm working
Good to
on
see
some
you.
development of classes.
Okay, so you're just working from home.
Oh shit,
during that
Sharkstar
time.
is here.
Okay, pending a
Who's that?
resolution of the university's investigation, I assume.
Right. That to me is the appropriate thing. If someone says that, then I shouldn't be in contact with patients. You know what I mean? So this is a voluntary, totally voluntary.
Okay.
You know, it's like, yeah, I sat down and talked with the dean over lunch hour on Friday.
Okay.
You know, and we said, you know what, this was probably the smartest thing. So because, that's, if someone is saying that, then it's hard because I'm used to being on the other side.
Right.
I'm the advocate, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm like, no, then that is totally appropriate.
Oh my God, I fucked up. God damn it. I have to go all the way back to the first fucking shell.
Why was he still seeing patients?
Y'all, I gotta pee real bad. I gotta pee really bad, so we're gonna pause. I'm going to run a quick ad
So my
break.
disclaimer is I talk fast.
We'll be back very shortly. We're not gonna get all the way through this whole video today anyway, I don't think. But if you all wouldn't mind hanging tight while Mother Doxy Pinkle Mockin', I'd appreciate it. BRB all. Sorry about the wait, y'all. I had to go talk to Josiah about some stuff. We decided we're going to make peanut butter cookies later. I'm excited about it. Anyway, I'm going to eat this banana. And then this applesauce. Because I have the munchies and I want fruit. So here, y'all can enjoy this in full screen. And I will turn off my cam for a minute while I do that stuff. Let me get everything all set up. If I could just get 3 readies in chat, I would appreciate that thoroughly. And we could get the show on the road. Dip the banana in the sauce, you coward. I will not. Hi, J-Rod. It's good to see you. Man, gotta love my town. Just saw 4 cop cars chasing a car speeding down the main road. Oh my gosh, I hope you're safe, Catalin. Ready, 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 banana. Okay, I'm here for that. J-Rod, if you're just joining us, this one is particularly heinous. It's particularly heinous.
Like to start is what you already know. So why don't we start with that? Because it sounds like there's been some conversations that have already taken place. So I'd like to know what you know.
What I was told was that
To catch you up, it's Larry Nassar is his name, and it's a bunch of molestation that happened and was with like many chances for intervention that went unheeded. Oh, this mother. Okay, yeah, you know what's up.
This is a treatment that I lecture on. I lecture on not only here at Michigan State to the fellows and residents.
This banana kind of sucks.
But to national organizations, international. You know, I was the keynote guest speaker in Australia to the Australian Olympic Sports Medicine for this very technique. They gave me 2 hours to lecture on it. That's why I wanted to show you the video.
Chat's doing a much better job of catching you up than I did.
That's what I do. I mean, that's, yeah, but, you know, and I have...
That's crazy, Catalin. I hope you're okay.
No.
Electronic medical records, you know, so
Okay.
that's like her chart.
Okay.
So I have stayed out of her chart.
Okay.
You know, so I don't want to...
Since she came in.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I don't want to be like, oh, he doctored or whatever. So it should stay in there even that, you know, I talked about this process. You know what I mean? And then for me, I'm a type of doctor that spends, believe it or not, 30 minutes is the quickest appointment that you're going to have with me.
Okay.
It's 30 to 60 minutes. Okay.
Sharkstar, is it a dog or a cat? And what is their name? And are they a boy or a girl?
You know, in her situation, that's why I'm beating myself up. I'm like, where did I go wrong? How did I not know?
I knew that. I knew that your cat's name was Marco. You had a book.
Okay. It doesn't, that's why I'm...
Marco. Who's the handsomest kitty? What a good boy. Oh, I love that little kidder man.
I like your dog.
She was feeling that I didn't get, because if you touch someone wrong, they should tighten up. If you touch someone, you know, and this is what I lecture on too. It's like if
Gross.
you do something that's inappropriate, their body.
The woman's body has a way of shutting these things down.
To respond, and I didn't sense anything like that. You know what I mean? And that's why, okay, well, maybe I was just talking too much, you know, because I talk and.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Peach carrot applesauce is the fucking jam, by the way, guys. I'm going to have had so much fucking sugar today. All right, so I don't know if this broke or if this part of the video is muted.
But you know, and so I'm known for this. You know, I mean, you know what I mean? And her body, you know, he picks me, okay, because that's my area. And I know how to. I can show you the stuff, but that's why I'm like, you know, because I tell people the touch is a personal thing, but there's a difference between palpation and caressing. You know what I mean? There's a total different, like, I tell a story, this is a true story, about when I was dating in medical school. And the reason why I went to DO school was for the hands-on stuff.
Applesauce rules, dude.
And it ended shortly thereafter because we'd be intimate together, and she said, "You're palpating again," because I'm like, "But I can fix this." You know what I mean? And so I was like,
God.
so I was more in tune, and that's how
Well,
my reputation is very.
He has a story about a woman
okay?
purposely having sex with him, so we know that everything he said here is a lie.
And so that's why I'm like, how the heck did I miss any signals? That's number one. Number two is also like, why, I don't get it. Why didn't she say something if she was feeling violated in any way, shape, and form? There was no communication to me, and that's why I'm like, what? Am I blind? Am I deaf? Didn't I hear or see anything? And she never, and she felt better. My understanding was when she was done that, because when I'm working on people, it's like, okay.
Oh yeah, I have to frog it.
Number two, what feels better?
I forgot.
You know what I mean? And the pain was going away. She was getting better. And so if I'm resolving a problem and in constant communication with the patient talking, I don't get why she just didn't come out and say something. Okay? So those were my frustrations that I'm going over, because I obviously, if this happens once, it could happen again. I've been doing this for 15 years or whatever, and so wake up, have you gotten too comfortable? Are you too relaxed about it? And I'm like,
it's just this time they're like, oh yeah, no, we believe him. Well, yeah, he was surrounded by a bunch of enablers. I don't understand how America can have the attitude that it does against pedophiles, yet all these rich white dudes get away with it all the time. I don't understand it. Like, you get to have one or the other. You can either be like, yeah, castrate them, kill them, or you get to be like, we're for pedophiles. You don't get to have both. Also, J-Rod, you call me.
So if I can get to some of the causes,
annoyingly.
It's people, I get referred all the time, people have pain, that comes to me, the pain.
I'm Goth Kelly
The
Kapowski.
biggest difference is I talk to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I'm like, was I too involved talking to her? Did I get into her space?
He said it takes him 30 to 60 minutes, so he can't be that.
You see what I'm saying? And what,
You not have to see
what
yourself
I was
out.
told was that what made her call Dr. Kovan was, this is what Dr.
Sweet
Kovan said,
Monstro.
was because I liked
Monstro
the
looks
picture on
cute
Instagram.
tonight. Money is power. They can hide what they have done. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Okay, and because I like that.
The minute there is any fine associated with the crime, it's a direct statement that says if you are rich enough, you are able to continue doing this. You're not wrong, Azuma. But typically, all the charges that come to a child predator who has acted on their urges are not like fine only kind of offenses.
But honestly, right now, and that's why I'm staying on the EMR. I can't even recall her first name. Okay, but it's like, what the heck, So I'm trying to think to myself.
So if you get rich, you have to choose not to be a pedo.
You broke into a space that she didn't want you to break into.
He is so adorable. He's my special little guy.
Clicked off. Well, maybe this wasn't a therapeutic or
I love him very
touch.
much.
Right.
Larry was asked a very open-ended question, one that could have been answered in one sentence. What do you already know? And instead of answering succinctly, he goes on a long spiel about how he is an expert in this field and gives lectures about what he does. He is associated with the Olympics, and that it's inconceivable for someone to have complained the way Tomashow has. He also changes the question into being one about his own frustrations and confusion on what went wrong, which was in no way asked. It is generally believed that when innocent parties are asked open-ended questions like this one during interrogations, they answer as efficiently as possible. A patient believes I sexually assaulted her during a treatment would be a far more clear-cut answer, but Larry immediately asserts intellectual dominance over the interviewer by casually throwing out his claims to fame, as well as his education. He is subtly telling her that she couldn't possibly understand his procedures because he is a world-famous doctor. He goes on to assert that he didn't sexually assault her at all, but she was simply confused because during her visit, she had opened up to him about a past situation involving an ex-boyfriend stalking her. He goes on to say that after the visit, he had liked one of her Facebook photos. He outright states that she was probably triggered by that action and felt as if he had been stalking her, and that his very normal procedure was now seen as sexual. That is why she didn't have a negative reaction while he worked on her, which she did. And that would explain why she, a normally nice person, was making a false claim against him. As he talks about this outlandish
Howdy, Glistic.
statement,
How are ya?
he continuously hypes up his own abilities,
Okay,
reminding
bye,
the
Monstro. I love
interviewer
you.
that he is one of the best doctors in Michigan, and that Amanda is just another one of the thousands of patients he sees a year.
Which that definitely could be part of the reason why she thinks
Right,
and why
right,
she's reporting what she is,
Right.
which that is a portion of it.
right.
So, what specifically did Dr. Kovan tell you that she, so is he the only one that spoke to you about this?
Dr. Kovan told me that Dr. Gietzel, he's our
Ew, I am on
Okay.
Twitch.
Right, so-
Oh no.
And then, of course, the dean.
And did he tell both of them? Or
Oh,
how did
I
they
just
tell them?
realized who you are. It's good to see you. How are ya? I just
And so
realized.
The dean called down Jeff on Friday, or Thursday, Friday.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
One of those
6,
days.
7.
And so then Jeff.
Oh,
came
yeah,
into
because
the
there's-
Office to the dean at 7:30 in the
Wow,
morning.
wow, wow.
So I think it was Friday.
This past Friday?
Right.
Okay.
Right. And then the dean called me down Friday afternoon.
Okay.
Okay.
So Dr. Kovan was the one that first initially met with you.
Right.
So what did he say? And obviously there was the issue of the Instagram picture. What else did
Right.
he tell you?
That she felt violated.
Welcome
and
back,
that
AJ.
I
How are
was
ya?
doing- Like I touched her breast and then I moved her underwear out of the way, and I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, I
So
do
that's
that all the
9.
time, and he said that he tried to explain
This
to her
will
too
be
that
10.
'cause
That
I
makes
taught Jeff,
sense.
Dr.
That
Coleman
makes
how to do
sense.
this,
Okay.
So he was like, but he said, because she said, Jeff said also she didn't want to make a big deal out of it, but Jeff said, because you're talking to me, I
Okay,
will
I'm
move
gonna
this forward
leave
because
these
that's what I have
markers
to do,
in
because
case I
that's
fuck up
right,
this
you
row
know?
again.
Right.
So she didn't, according to Jeff, said she didn't want to make a big deal of it. She just wanted to let me know and, to try and take care of it. You know what I mean? So Jeff moved it forward,
Which is-
but
I assumed, or did he tell you that when he contacted?
whoever, he just moved.
Okay, so he just told you he moved it forward. Okay.
Right. So that's how it got moved forward. You know what I mean? But like at that time, he was like, I explained to her that Larry does this all the time, and there's, that he knows what techniques, that I do, and that is true. I mean, that's why I brought the computer. I think if you see the videos that I educate people on, that's what I do. You know what I mean? And I can, if someone has a rib problem, I can fix their rib. But if I can't, a lot of times you can't use the shoulder.
Sorry.
There's myofascial techniques, I can fix their rib by having my hand on their bottom area, and I can fix their rib by, from above, okay? There's just myofascial techniques, but it's medical. That's the problem. Like, how
I'm
did she
good.
not-
Just had
Earlier
a
in
DM's
the interrogation,
roundtable
Larry
about
would
the new
repeatedly
D&D
state
product
that how
announcements.
did
Yeah,
he not
are
see
you
she was
excited for anything in
uncomfortable,
particular?
And how did he not feel she was upset? 14 minutes in, and he has now changed his phrasing to how did she not understand, and how could she think so? He has already shifted the onus of responsibility onto her for his actions, and inferred that it was her fault for simply not understanding that he was a good guy who wouldn't assault her. He also states that the entire investigation was pushed forward not because there is an actual case here, or because there was any
That's not even the
potential
most
wrongdoing,
audacious
but because it
thing
had
that
to be a
he's, like,
basic
said or
operating
done,
procedure.
J-Rod.
He insists that when he talked to the doctor, who Amanda had made the initial claim to, he didn't believe her and thought the claim was bullshit. Nassar is trying to nonchalantly get O'Brien to associate Amanda's claim with being disrespected by other medical professionals who, like Nassar, were trained in the same kind of physical therapy.
So those would be some of the things we work through, right? So
Correct.
what may be helpful is if we start off with the videos.
Yeah, sure.
That way you can show me, and then what I'll probably have you do, if you don't mind, if they're not too long, and you can email them to me.
Oh, I got Dropbox.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I made a Dropbox
Perfect.
for the dean, you know what I mean?
6.
I can't get on to do
Yeah,
Dropbox. But I can send you, you send me an email?
Yep, I sent
So
you an email.
I can send you the link to the Dropbox?
Yep, that'd be
Okay.
perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, they normally have our wireless pretty well locked down here,
Oh,
so.
yeah, no, I can send it to you when I get home. It'd be under sports medicine.
9.
I have it in so many different areas because
No,
this
that's
is like
okay.
this
Take
is
your
down
time.
Australia. Okay, so this is what I was down in Australia doing the lecture, and it looks like I put a few in here. So this is what probably looks like would be on the drop box, the majority of it. So
Excited for the new Spelljammer
let's go
stuff.
back.
Yeah, Josiah was talking about how excited he is
Okay.
about that too.
So this was like my first.
I
video
am
that I ever
also
made.
excited
It
about
was made on
that. I think
VHS.
that is
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
We're going way back.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the like space stuff, right? The astral sea.
Okay. So her parents are in the room, you know, and I wanted to give this lecture. So she volunteered. It's the first time I ever met her. Okay. And she had see her chest movement, you know, so that's her range of motion right now. Okay. So this is what I do. So she
Who is he
has
talking to?
physical
An
therapy, 6 months
interrogator.
of physical therapy. Okay. She'd been resting, you know, and they're like, okay, let's go see this doctor in Lansing. They came.
A cop.
So I'm doing the palpation of this part, but let me just go forward here. But you can see where my hand is going here now, but that's nothing compared to what I'll show you. That's her straight there, and okay, but right. Let me do this here. So I tested in different areas. So now she has pain there from this, but. So okay, so now I'm doing one of her her leg treatment. Okay. Go. Anyways, and then I work her up. I gotta keep going. This is just the video of it.
No, that's
So
okay.
now look at the range of motion just from that. Okay. Remember the range of motion was here.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I worked the fascia up the rest of her back. Okay. So she came in with a hamstring problem. Okay. But so where am I working? You see what I'm saying? I always tell people it's like from your ponytail to your big toe. Okay. Now for 6 months, and now look at this range of motion. One treatment. Okay, and that's where she couldn't get for 6 months. Okay, you start doing this, and it's without even stretching her.
9.
Okay, the voice is off. You know,
No,
'cause
that's
it's,
okay.
You know, but so you can see that it basically doubled her range of motion without even starting. Now I'm starting to do a little bit of stretching. That's where.
Yes,
that's
I am so excited about hippo people, and also I
that was
literally
like, okay,
just
back
played
then,
a
I was
booger
thinking I was
monster,
treating it the operator. Really trying to- I was
which
trying to figure it
is
out.
what
Okay, the way that I first started
one of the new
working
races
in
is
this
going to be
area
like, and
was
I've been very excited
treating
about
this guy,
learning more about 3 Creen.
He said they weren't getting better, same type of situation, and she was guiding me. And she was like,
So that's hype
taking
as
my
hell.
hand, and I mean, I'm right in her vaginal area, and she said, that's it. And all of a sudden, with my hand there, her range of motion doubled. You know, I'm like, what the frick did I just do? And so I did all this research, and that's how I became known for this, because I did all this research to try and figure it out. And I met with Dr. Greenman, who was he's passed away now, but he wrote the book on osteopathic manual medicine, principles of manual medicine. And he's like, I think you're doing more sacral tuberous and pelvic floor as opposed to obturator interns, you know. So, anyways, so that's why this is like, okay, that was the beginning. You can see how long ago that is.
Yeah.
So, you know, and this is what I made for the lecture. And I do these videos all the time and send them to, like, everyone leaves instead of paper. They do the video on their phone.
Okay.
Okay, like if I wanted to go see a therapist or a doctor in a different area. So these people came up from, here we go. So this is in my lecture that I give now. You can see this is in our new office and everything.
Bye.
Obviously, because now her parents are in the room, you know, for this too, of course. I think her mom actually is holding the camera.
7.
I'm trying to show it on. You can't really see it on the skeleton there, because like I said,
8.
they were holding the camera, not. But then here.
9. His voice grosses me out.
So now, here is like where the leotard line would be if she's wearing leotard.
Everything about this dude grosses me out.
Her sacrotuberous ligament with kinesia things I invented with that tape job too. Here's your tuberosity. You're sore right here, correct? Okay. So I'm going to come more towards the rectum. Any pain? No. Okay. So it doesn't hurt there when I push. I'm pushing at about a 45-degree angle. That's where I'm going to put my pressure. And maybe up towards the tailbone a little bit more as I come up. But this is
GIF, yeah, that's what they're called. Or I don't know if it's GIF or GIF, but there's another one for us to fight over, hey?
pubic symphysis. Okay. And my hand supporting the pubic symphysis in the front.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm touching her areas. You know what I mean? That's.
Can we get another roast? Okay, yeah, but this is the last one I'm doing, so don't waste your points on this anymore. The sound of his voice legitimately does make my pussy so dry that he would need KY jelly just to molest me. It clamps right shut like I have vaginismus, but I don't have vaginismus. And that's all without even seeing that stank ass face with what is definitely without question accompanied by halitosis. Boom roasted.
So my other hand you can't see, but it's in the inner.
Disgusting pile of trash.
Oh wait, okay, this will be testing her. Okay, so listen to what she's saying. Go back further.
You're welcome. Oh, time to hydrate. Don't mind if I do.
See, this is what I want to hear you say.
Thanks for looking out for me, Ravioli. I appreciate you.
Yes, pain, yes. Did you hear that? Just briefly. That's what I'm doing up. So where's her pain? Is her pain? Is her pain? Is her pain? She had pain the whole way up, okay? And now I put my hand.
He is just making this woman watch a video of him molest somebody. Ugh.
Doing with her is like,
This dude is heinous.
I changed from those different hand positions. Pain doesn't hurt, okay, so I'll take a deep breath, and then I hold it and work it out, so that's what I'm getting at, is like, I get her in a position that doesn't hurt, the pain's going away, and I'm talking the whole time. That's when, like, if I put her in a position that made the pain go away, and my hand is down there, there's no question about it.
Right, obviously I can see that.
Why? But it's a conversation too. You know what I mean? Number one, number two. Which feels better. And then I do this because I treat them seated, standing. So like here is even.
Told y'all it was gonna get worse. Yeah, you weren't lying. I hope that this is the lady that fucking finally pinches his ass. I'm waiting for her to be like, dude, are you fucking serious? Yeah. Like, I feel like this can't get past a grown woman.
So she's going to be sitting on me. I didn't do this with her. But I'm just showing you that, I do this in so many different positions. I do it standing, too. Okay? So now, she's legit sitting on my hand. Okay?
2 years before he actually gets in trouble. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So my fingers are on the inside of that, between the two sit bones, pulling this way. Okay?
4, 5, 6. 7.
Change my position.
8.
And the pain's gone, because I have to change the. Okay, So that was painful. Putting my hand there, changing it because there's different vectors, forces is. So it takes the pain away, you know. Then okay, that tells me okay, I need to do this, you know what I mean?
so-
and then I actually send him home with
Forgive the
exercises.
term, but cocky. He's so cocky. Like, he just believes that he gets to keep getting away with this forever.
The one in here, no, I bet you that's just in the actual.
Ugh.
This is like Botsford. I mean, I've done this lecture so many times. Let's just do Botsford. Is that? Yeah, let's see if Botsford shows us the whatchamacallit one.
And then so then
Why wouldn't he? I get you.
Depending on positionally where.
Hi, Spoken Feast. How are you? What happened to the 420 button? I forgot to fucking turn it on yesterday, but I got rid of it. I meant to turn it on yesterday, but I just completely forgot. He's like critiquing the video, right? He's like doing a react to his own molestation, and it's so fucking. I hate him. I hate him.
Oh no, this is an older. The videos aren't connected.
Larry
Everyone
could have
believes
shown
him no
her
matter how
one lecture
egregious his
or the
action.
PowerPoint and been done
It
with
blows my
But he makes
mind
a
that
point
he
to
got
stop
away
in
with
the
it for
middle
so
and
long.
seek out others that have the same information. He is purposely making a show of how many times he has done this lecture, how normal the procedure he did on Amanda is, and how he's been doing this for years without any issues. He even made a point to showing a video that was originally filmed on VHS to drive in the point about how long he has been doing this.
Go away. Sometimes when you convert them.
This isn't as bad as the one we all noped out of last week. Yeah, that one was pretty brutal.
I've been, updating them.
I feel like this one is as bad though,
This just shows the pattern.
because he did it to so many girls. He ruined so many lives. Like, people came to him with medical problems expecting to get treatment and instead got molested. So, like, not only did their issue not get treated, they just also got a whole heap of mental health problems on top of it. So, like, it's and for so many years he was surrounded by enablers, by people who enabled and empowered him to do this stuff. You are untouchable in the United States if you are a white man, especially if you're a wealthy one.
With following this all stuff, that's what means. It's in this textbook called Movement Stability and Low Back Pain. Okay, and so we're trying to create stability. So it'll morph. It'll make sense to you as I go through it. But
Larry shows quotes and research from other doctors and states that it's not just him doing these kinds of
Hey,
treatments.
humanoid void, how's
but
it going?
he is
It's good to see
keenly
you.
aware that what he is saying
Did I
is going
miss
to
one?
be taken at
I
face
mean,
value, as he is the expert in the field.
There's
He
been
misrepresents
some
certain
pretty
texts
tough
in order
ones.
to fit his own defense here, with the knowledge that even if she were to read
the
the
ones
book,
that are with
she
little
wouldn't
kids
understand the
really
conclusions
fuck us
being
up
reached.
around here.
anyways, these are from his textbook.
I've been
showing you
touched and
how
I'm a white man
true
in the
that
US.
This is not just me being crazy.
I am not.
This is
Like,
Right.
textbooks,
Nothing you
I am not trying to have this conversation with another white dude who wants to pretend that they're a victim of discrimination. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
This is showing how the sacrum rocks. I'm trying to
More Dr. Nick's, less Dr. Larry's. Agree.
how the gait is affected. So you can see how those videos are in the lecture presentation.
I was gonna try.
And
I was going to try to do a Dr. Nick impression, but I feel like it would go over very poorly. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
This is pelvic release. This is when we finally got tape on the back. Okay, and so she came in after 3-4 months of not being able to do her pose. Okay, her pose
I
never-
can't fucking count. I'm the worst person.
Anyway, so I did this treatment on her, and that's her range of motion. 3 days working on her at the gymnastics camp at our National Team Training Center, doing those techniques that you saw, and that's her range of motion. After 3-4 months of not being able to raise her leg up, okay? So I mean, that's why it's very powerful. You know what I mean? It makes huge differences, okay? This is like
Crocheting
showing
looks good.
some-
Thank you so
so
much.
like
I
a self-treatment.
don't know how.
Okay, like teach them to
I
pick a
fucked
wedgie.
this up so bad. I need to go
Pick your
back.
wedgie. Get in there, pick your wedgie, you know, and you need to pull and stretch, and I'm showing you.
Did this guy really bring his pedo laptop to this
Just showing you that
interrogation?
they
Yep.
do that,
Apparently
you know.
all of his
I teach
fucking
them.
computers had child porn on them.
Okay?
And you said you've taught the staff.
And not just the one that he made.
I gave this lecture at our MSU conference, our MSU Sports Medicine Conference. You know what I mean, too. But so here's standing.
Okay,
so this obviously she has scoliosis, which gives you a lot of rib pain.
1, 2, 3.
So she's not a gymnast.
Yeah, and then we need to do one more here. I forgot. I
Anyway,
somehow
she comes in,
left a
she's
V
like
instead of a
graduated,
like
she'll come in and just
double
for the
crochet
student for
3 in
the
same
so,
stitch.
Okay, but so I can treat scoliosis.
1,
because of the
2,
ribs.
3, 4.
Standing, so I treat this standing, seated, you know. And this is showing, you know, like, okay, standing, you can do it this way, you know.
5.
So, and then taping it. Okay, there's different tape jobs, and you literally come into the ischial-rectal fossa.
Oh, J-Rod, you're the worst.
Okay, to use kinesio tape. This is one of the
Oof, the confidence. Yeah, he's oozing with it. Well, he's been getting away with it for all these years.
start, because I would start this up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
The rectal area, and of course they lateral to the labia. If you get too close to the rectal area, of course they can get more skin irritation. Okay, so I mean you're coming right where
Right,
okay, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't touch her there. I purposefully touched her there. Okay, that's the
9.
you know. So this was all like sacrotuberous, and over time, and I'll just go up. You can see how you can put
How
the layers there, you know. But that's
How much further do I have? I'm like halfway done with this row. This is going really slowly
you can
today.
see how I talk with my hands. I'm always
Yeah, I'm the same way.
okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even on the patient's body, you know. So as I'm talking with her, trying to describe things, I don't know. You know, I see so many people. I don't know.
Are you guys hearing the same thing I'm fucking hearing right now?
You know, not decades, but since like 1997.
Okay.
You know, like, why now? What happened? You know, and then so that's where I switch over. And as I
Tilde a pattern, J-Rod. It'll show you the final project. What it will look like. It's really pretty. I'm so excited to finish it.
But this is my leotard. Okay. This is let's see, it is July 25th. This is my
Slow is better than not at all. My ADHD says, yeah.
So I'm trying to
That's
put it into a
true.
leotard.
I might do a few rounds between streams,
So these were,
but I can't promise that. You know, I'm not gonna say that I will, because I had to frog like an entire side of that sweater that I've been working on. And I've been really dragging my feet on finishing it. I really want to wear it for stream tomorrow, so I'm probably gonna work on that.
So this is like a core. So we have Under Armour and
Thanks, J-Rod.
to try and lift.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
So this was our first demo of it, but you can see how it comes up, you know, to
4.
lift and shift, and it basically it's like, I mean, I'm literally trying to design how to put my hands on the leotard, you know what I mean, like so that they can wear it and have the same type of biomechanical support, you know. So we have Jim Kin. I've met with a few people at Jim Kin, and since Under Armour is our new sponsor, I thought this would be a great
7.
project for the two.
Oh my God,
to work
Under
together.
Armour should be fucking embarrassed.
Okay, so
8.
I think on the Dropbox there's actually more pictures of that. But
Okay.
I need to get to another. So what I've gone from
9.
operator internist to sacrotuberous to going into more.
10. I'm almost out of stitch markers. I have to use too many of them in this project. Jesus. Jesus Louise.
Pelvic floor work is what
I'm not saying I could pull that look off, but I'm not saying it either.
it's in the gymnastics injuries. This is the latest, I guess you could say. Core lectures. Did I put it in core lectures? Straight to the new core, back.
Should I
core.
spoil?
Okay, let me
It depends on what you're talking about.
Sorry, I'm not taking too much here.
Nope, that's what I'm here for.
Okay.
That's what we're here for, is figure out exactly what happened so we can take all the time we need.
So are you sort of seeing? I mean, this is literally like, gosh, I wonder if those are.
That's not a
two-
spoil
like
then,
the,
Sperry. That's something that we're supposed to know.
National Romania for Gymnastics. Okay?
He's not even a real
They're,
doctor, J-Rod.
Nassar
He's
plugs
not
in
even
an
a real
external hard
doctor.
drive
He
to
like
his computer. While normally this
socially
wouldn't be a
networked,
reason to
not
pause,
social,
it is more than likely
not
that
like
this hard
social
drive
media
also
social
contained
networked, but
child porn
socially
at this
networked
time.
like IRL his way into that position.
Trainer. I just made up videos for them.
This woman lets him off. Ugh.
Where are those? Let's go here. I thought I know they're on the Dropbox too, but videos.
Well, I mean, I am sure that some of it is my like 2020, or I don't know why I said 2020. My like
Should just put them all in.
hindsight bias is what I meant to say. Like hindsight is 2020 is where my high ass
Not like you're
fucking
kind of repair, really.
I'm an idiot is essentially what's
You knew
going
at some
on.
point I was calling, but
This dude is just like setting off all of my fucking creeper flags and bells. Like they're all going crazy. I don't understand how he got away with this for so long. Would you ever consider listening to a podcast on stream that talks about true non-murder crime, albeit in a humorous way? An episode came out today about Charles Ponzi that was interesting and funny. It needs to be creepy. It has to be creepy, or else it doesn't really fit in with our theming. It's got to be disturbing.
Lectures. So this was the most recent lecture, and it would be on PE, pelvic floor.
Yeah, Dolliver, this guy is bad.
All right. So this I gave at USA Gymnastics National.
And
Congress,
like he's gotten
okay?
away with
And I
it.
gave it also at the last.
Welcome back, Kyle.
Year's, MSU annual sports medicine
Okay.
conference. Okay.
He got
So
away with it for a
that's why I
long
think,
time
okay,
because people
the
kept
grand
speaking
junction
up for
was
him.
the-
Adults
the
kept
like-
not
okay.
believing
Then I-
these
like,
child
I do a lot
victims.
of pelvic floor work
Or
because
they
the
did
gyms
believe,
had a lot
like
of
worse, they did
units
believe and
before
backed him
so
anyway.
pounding and their
But
roots
like,
were small,
the,
they peaked.
I feel like not a single one of them could have truly believed that he was an innocent man the second and third and fourth time that he got reported. You know what I mean?
But this is where
Yeah,
I get
it's
into more
crazy. He kept getting reported, and he kept weaseling his way out of it with fake doctor jargon when he isn't even a fucking doctor.
What do you awful women
What do you
want?
awful
Prince
women
show
want?
hosting with 69
Just kidding.
viewers.
Hi guys, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate you. Minx and Chrism, I hope you guys are doing real good. Music Star,
But she's like,
thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Just to let you guys know,
I try and been educated.
this is really heavy. We're listening to true crime about a pedophile who got away with it for way too long, like way too long. But yeah, that's what's going on. Thank you so much for the raid. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Zero Doxy. I make fiber arts, and we watch creepy, disturbing things from around the internet. Crowing Fish, welcome. Everybody make sure that Crowing Fish feels welcome.
That I found from physical exam, and people are like, "You're full of crap." I do an MRI, they sprain that.
Probably not the right time to raid, but thanks. I mean, it's never going to be the right time to raid on this channel.
So what we try and do is.
A quick Google
we
says he was
actually
reported
teach
like
them to
8
use the
times,
muscles.
and each time people were just like, he's a doctor, dummy. Doctors regularly do that. Jesus. I really hate this guy
So
even more
if-
than the
when
murderers.
I'm
Some of the
in the
victims
pelvic
even
floor
stuck
area,
up for him
it's
because the coaches
not
also
given
treated the
for
girls
safety
awful, and
reasons.
he acted like he
We
cared
can't
about the
help
girls.
the effects
Yeah,
of the
for some
pelvic
reason,
floor.
all the people around
The
this guy
pelvic
keep
floor
fucking
is
committing
known
suicide
to
because of the
actually
guilt
be
of what
able
he
to
did
use
to
the
these little
pelvic floor.
girls,
It
and
actually
like
gives you force
he
to go.
is.
So I tell people the core to the core is the
He
floor.
spent
Start with the core
decades
by using your floor.
abusing
Okay?
these
So try to
girls
educate
instead of
people
giving
how to
them the
use
medical
floor.
help that they
And that's what I'm
needed.
doing a lot of times is even
It's
though I'm there,
just
I'm affecting
heinous.
the floor. And if I can get the floor to contract well, then I can get there. Whatchamacallit, so
Anyway, I appreciate you guys all so much. Thank you for coming in.
So I talk about Kegel muscles, so this is
And
part
thank
of
you, Minx, for the
exercise
raid.
programs. You know what I mean? So that's why it's a little bit different. For my athletes that I've done this time, they would have had these home exercise programs, okay? okay, literally. Okay, I see athletes, okay? The only way I don't see it, the only way I see a non-athlete is as someone
Okay,
saying,
where
do
are
this.
we?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yes, you know, and
One,
that's how I'm
two.
joking anyway. So these are like trigger points, you know, areas that are mapped out, you know, on the body and stuff. But there's the, I call it the butt the lift and shift, you know, kinesio tape. But
Not to mention that he wasn't even a doctor for most of his run. Yeah, he wasn't a doctor at any point, was he? He just told people he was and got away with telling people he was a doctor.
Then you just know.
Like, it's crazy how, like, recently people could get away with faking things. Like, you just cannot get away with that kind of shit anymore.
You know, there's
I wish I was joking more. That's, like, literally the kind of arguments people would make for him. Are you a doctor? No, didn't think so. So why, so who are you to say he isn't? Yeah, ugh. That's the Ben Shapiro response, hey? Like, full on.
This is the American Osteopathic Academy of Sports Medicine. It's the national sports medicine, like all the doctors of sports medicine doctors in the country. There's 2 more gymnasts that I've done it on too, and look at the range of motion afterwards. But anyway, so understanding the biomechanics of a single ligament makes a big difference. There's more that you'll see in the Dropbox.
Okay.
You'll see, I mean, I'm pretty graphic in the videos.
1, 2,
okay? And
Which
the
is
ones
actually
for-
going to be helpful to the investigation.
And the other videos actually talk about, and that's, I know they're on there. This is starting to irritate me just a little bit, because I'm like, where the heck did I put them?
6.
It'll be, here's the, did it load up? Yes, I was loading up to send some more stuff today. But it'll be, I think underneath this, it'll be like a sacrotuberous, okay,
8.
just to let you know, hey, can I actually do this? No, that's not all.
9.
What happened? I thought I better add those
10.
ones with the Romanian.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that Benny and his wife, like,
But that's why
I'm no one to
I
assume.
do this. This is what I do. Why didn't I get the idea that?
But I
she
believe
was
they had test
doing,
tube babies, and they're both just like embarrassed that they're
I do
ace.
this on minors.
Like, that has to be what's going on,
Very
right?
rarely, if ever, worked on minors with a parent in the room anymore. He would usually usher them out politely and tell them he was just going to be doing a standard exam. However, he was more than aware that implying he did this to minors by themselves, without anyone else present, would create issues. By his own accord, Larry brings up his work with minors as a way to further establish himself as a good guy, because no one who had abused a
Can
child
hang out while I
would
waited for another stream to
self-report
start.
like
Now it
this.
started, and I don't want to leave.
You have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to.
It's the doxy check
sense what the heck is
curse.
going on, and why I
See you later,
didn't
Rona.
get
Have a
that
good one.
feeling
Thanks for
from
hanging
her
out.
Is beyond me, and why did.
Nassar graduated as a doctor of osteopathic medicine from Michigan State University College of Osteopathic Medicine. He completed his residency training in family practice at St. Lawrence Hospital, completing a fellowship in sports medicine in 1997. So he is an actual doctor, it seems. Okay. So most,
That's why I'm like, if she's feeling
most-
better, why
was he a
what
doctor
tipped
during
you
this
off
video
to
or
start
not?
thinking, like,
Because I know for most of his tenure, he was
At the
not,
beginning of
or
the interrogation,
tenure.
Larry was
That's
deliberate in
a
stating that he never noticed that she was upset
misuse
or
of
felt
that word, I
violated by the
suppose.
procedure.
Jeez
But now
Louise.
he is fully shifted into stating that not only did she not feel violated at the time, but she actually
What
responded
are we
well to
crocheting
it,
again? Do
stating it
tilde a
felt good
pattern in
repeatedly,
chat?
and only changed
And
her
it'll,
mind when he
it'll
liked
show
her
ya
photo on social media.
what we're working on.
He has
It's
gone
called
from
the
casually
Ballerina
trying
top.
to discredit her to
I'm
outright
so
denying
excited
that there
about
had been
it.
a problem in the first place, even in terms of noticing her
1,
own
2, 3,
discomfort.
4.
You know, and that's, this is just going to be irritating now.
Yeah, if you can't find him now, that's okay. You know,
Okay.
it's
Go ahead. I can look while you're talking more. You know.
So,
more questions.
when Dr. Cogan initially talked to you about this, so it seems like there was a some time that went by from when he initially talked to you to when you were talked to again.
Mhm.
When he initially talked to you and you guys had your conversation, what was the resolution or outcome of that conversation? So he tells you, hey, she comes in here.
Right. I wasn't that worried about it. I mean,
Okay.
at that point, because he had said he explained it to her, and she didn't want to make a big deal of it, was his words.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But he said he had to move it up the chain. You know
And
what I
that
mean?
he
So
explained the procedure to her when you say he explained
he
it to
explained
her?
it to her. I can't
Okay.
talk for him.
No,
but
I'm
that's-
just curious.
Literally
that's
lost
I can't
progress
explain
on
to her
stream
what
today,
you
by the
do.
way.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? And so that's
Fuck.
his words, you know?
I can't believe how
No, that's okay.
slow going
You know,
it
that-
is today
she
for me.
wanted
I'm
to be
so
all that-
sorry,
So those were the
everybody.
three things was that I remember from our conversation or four things was, it was after the Instagram picture and the moving of the underwear and moving of her breast.
Okay, it
and-
will
because
only
of
be
between her
3
ribs
more,
area.
which is how many we'll have
And
left, so that's
then
nice.
she didn't want to
Or
make a big deal
4
of it,
is
but
what
she
we
thought
have
she needed
left.
to talk to Jeff about it. And then Jeff saying that, you know,
So, God,
appreciate what
please
you
just
tell me,
let
so
this
I
stitch
will move
count
this
come
up the
out
chain.
right.
Okay, so that was
Just take it
like
apart and title the
So
stream
it's kinda
making a
left
yarn ball.
open-ended for him
You
to
joked, but I had to
contact
do
you.
that today.
There was
I
no
did have to
conversation,
make a yarn ball.
Okay.
so,
Doctors
it was
are
just
awful
all,
already, and now this
figured,
guy's
okay,
giving them a worse
nothing
name.
ever happened,
Man,
you know,
I don't
you know,
agree with
and
that. I do not
once
think that doctors are
once the
awful
deed- once it did
necessarily.
actually
I,
get off the chain, and
for the
deed
most
called
part,
me
I'm
Jeff
really
Friday
thankful
morning,
for
and I was like, okay,
doctors.
so
I think that
obviously
Big
she's
Pharma
gonna
is
keep
really
up,
evil, and I
and
think
then
that there
not
are
monitoring
bad
it.
doctors, and I
I
think
told
there
Jeff at the
is
time, I said, if she felt that way,
outdated
I
science
would
that a
encourage
lot
her
of
to
prejudiced
say,
ones
you know,
stick
if she
to.
would've talked to me,
But I
you know,
don't
and said,
feel
"So
like
Dr.
it's
did
one of
something," I said,
those
"You need to discuss this,"
situations
because that's what
where if there's
I
one
am
bad, they're
more
all
of a
bad, like with
patient
cops,
advocate
right?
than anything else. It's my role. That's me.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it. It's like me. You know,
Right. Everyone has their own style.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's not. It's no.
I'll be
it's not
Wishnam.
the
Thank
style,
you
it's
so much for
you. You know what I mean?
understanding.
As a person,
Doctors
to
are a
be able to
crapshoot.
do
Yeah,
this
just
stuff,
like
to be able to do
your
this stuff for
fucking
so
randomly
long.
assigned
If you don't have patient confidence,
lab
patient
partner in
trust,
science. It
you
is.
would've
It's a
had my ass in
crapshoot.
here
It's
how
like
many times?
Right.
either it's a good
Okay,
doctor
especially
or
when
it's
doing
a
this
bad
on
doctor.
10-year-olds,
You can't
12-year-olds.
guarantee one way or the other. You know
With
what I
their
mean?
parents there.
I have a
But I'm
severe
obviously doing
phobia
a
of
doggone
needles,
good
so I
job
am against
explaining
all
things,
medical
okay,
professionals.
because
Man,
you know what I mean?
better
That's
giving
kinda
them
nuts,
perspective. There's never
though.
been any complaints that you're aware of prior to this one, and obviously you're videotaping.
like,
things here, doing
please
all
understand,
that.
So
I
this has been going
don't
on
want you to
for
think that
forever.
you're bad or
As we
wrong
know,
for having
Larry had
feelings, but we do
complaints
have to
come in about
recognize
him
when
a
our
number of
feelings
times,
are
and he
unreasonable,
is well
right?
aware of this
Like with
fact. He is
phobias.
also well aware of
You
the
can't
fact that his
hold your
colleagues
fear
had
of needles
squashed all of
against
the complaints
medical
before they were
professionals.
reported, and there was no proof of them to speak
Like,
of,
that's a
but he uses the
disconnect in your
fact that no
brain.
one had complained before as a sign that what he did was completely
Right?
above board and normal.
Am I
and
being
that
crazy?
This entire interrogation was in fact insulting.
As a
because
trans
he
person, outdated
obviously
science and
is
beliefs that
darn good at
people
his job.
stick
You know
to
what I mean?
definitely
Like,
think,
that's
yeah,
what
and that's
the
exactly what I
videos
was
he's been
thinking.
videoing and changing and adapting, so I can't
Exactly what I
say
was
that
thinking.
it's
Any doctor that
transforming,
speaks
you know,
out
from
against,
just the operator intern
uh,
to tuberous to pelvic floor, you know what I mean? So
like,
all of that
measures
is the phone-
supporting transgenderism. There's a better way to say that. But anybody that comes
No,
out
that's okay.
as
Sorry about it.
like
But you wanna see
anti-trans
what's
as a
with them.
doctor is
And
not
listen to
reading the
words
science
that
that
I'm
we
saying
have.
too, okay?
It's-
And just watch my body movements.
It hurts me
okay?
to know
When
that
I'm
my
checking
trans friends
things,
have to fucking
you know,
be
when
careful
my hands are
when
on
they're
the
selecting a
patient's face
doctor.
because
That
I could
is
see how
devastating.
she's massaging my breast. No, I'm like, how's that there now? How's that there? You'll see my hands move, okay?
Okay.
It's talking
Shark
with
Star,
my
this guy
hands.
isn't even
It's
becoming a
what-
ghost.
How's that feeling
Well, I'm
now?
pretty
It's
sure
like,
that he's
I'm telling
alive
you,
and
you don't
well.
left, right, or
It's
to
so
your
bad
left,
it's in my medical
you
records, and
move
I
it
blame
so
doctors
they know what
specifically.
what you're talking about. They
My
can
girlfriend
sense
is a
movement.
doctor. She works her ass off to help people
So
and
if
does
I-
more than
if
any
I
doctor
try to
I've seen to
scribe,
diagnose people
how does my left
correctly.
hand feel next
Sadly, a
to
lot
the
of people
right
who come to her
hand?
just
No.
want pain
But if
pills
I
and
go
don't
like
care about
this, you
actual
know
help.
what I'm talking about, okay? So it's
Yeah,
the
I
way that I
feel for
communicate
medical
'cause your hands
professionals.
are on them.
I feel for
So
them.
that is exactly what we're talking about.
In some cases, the
WP
interrogator
ATH
will
says
go along with a
progesterone is
noticeably
bad for
bullshit
you,
story
so
in
we
order to
won't
get more
prescribe
false
it.
details
I
to
don't
use
know
against the other party
exactly.
later.
Like
This is not the case
I am
here.
sure
But
that I
Brian
have
did believe
read
that
what you are
Larry was
talking
saying
about,
was
but
in
I am
fact
not
true.
familiar
Here,
enough
she
to be
nearly
able to
confirms
just
that
like
by stating
recall
that it seems
that
like
information
what he's
back
showing her on his
by what you're
tapes of his
saying.
medical
But like
procedures is in line
I
with
definitely
what Amanda
like I
stated
get
happened
what you
to her.
mean.
Larry
I
had
do
already
like
gotten
I
away with
read
his
of
crimes
I've read
again, and
so
he
much.
knows
This
it. From here
something
on
that
out,
like
Larry's
obviously
demeanor will completely
it means
change, and he will at times be appearing
more
to
to you
have
guys
fun,
than it does to me, but it
crack
means a lot
jokes,
to me.
and be more expressive.
Yeah, trans healthcare.
So that is So was there more
Trans health,
details
that's
you
something
see
I'm
on
really
Friday
passionate
then?
about.
Did they go over?
He's
'cause you
alive
said,
but
hey,
not well.
they
He would
came
have to
by.
live to be
What the dean
144
said
to even
was,
have his first chance at parole, so he's
that
dying in prison.
It's been moved up
I
the
mean,
chain,
that's a
and that
lot
this could
more well
become
than
a police
he
issue, or it's, you know, that she,
than the
that it
odds
could
would
become a police issue if she
suggest
chooses to
for
file
people
a
who have
police
done
report or
what
whatever,
he
you
has
know,
done.
and that because of that, it'd be in your best interest, in our best interest, if we don't have you see patients right now, because.
Which makes sense, like you said.
Well, yeah, and I'm like, sure. He goes, you know, so you take the time that we need. You know, I said, you could do the research, do the academic, you know, work that I'm doing. You know, so I said,
I get shitty when people speak out in like
I'm old high school's team doctor. And
Okay.
medical professional ways, just because there are a few bad doctors, because the ones that are good are so fucking selfless. And another thing, the cost of medical services is abysmal. That's big pharma, that's not the doctors. And also specifically the doctor's fault. I'm joking, I haven't been to a doctor in years, I just can't afford it, I feel that. Well, considering the timetable for human immortality is the next 50 or so years, he could live out his full sentence. He's already pretty old, I think, though, hey?
Fine detail into what she said. So I'm not going to hide anything from you. There's not going to be any secrets. I'll go over all that stuff.
Also, I feel like they've been saying that for a long
Up
time.
front, and then obviously I
The
wanted to see
timetable for
videos
human
that
immortality is the
what
next
I'm
50
seeing
or
in
so
these
years.
videos is basically very similar to what she.
But then you have numerous doctors who will conflate that with bioidentical progesterone. The recent research shows that is completely unfounded. I have no idea what you're even saying, and I'm so sorry. I wish I did.
For me to get those videos, and especially the ones, if you have ones in more detail, like you said, are a little more graphic.
To the whatchamacallit, to Romania.
Okay.
You know, so those were just done for 2013 European, so last summer.
Okay.
Getting ready for the 2013 European Championships, and was having a problem, and so they contacted me to say, hey, you know, what can you do to help? I mean, England, Canada, Germany. I mean,
wait, Doxy, do you not have a health card yet? Right. Nope, I sure don't. It's going to be a while.
Okay, I'm not saying that
it's going to be a long time.
I'm there, and yes, it's medical. It's not, I don't know how else to say it, but I'm totally taken by
It's really scary. Like, I really need to not have any health problems while I'm transitioning here. Like, I need to basically pray that nothing too serious happens to me, or else we're ruined.
Which is good to hear. It's, you know, it's good to hear that you feel bad that she feels that way.
Yeah, because I feel like this little deviant, you know what I mean? And that's not right. And that's not... I mean, that's reality, okay? That's who I am, okay?
369.
That's why I'm like, of all the freaking people, I'm the only guy even allowed in with the national team.
I'm glad other prisoners are seemingly more human sometimes. Okay?
But because of the essence, who I am, it's the trust. If I did something wrong, do you know how quickly that would spread like wildfire across? I'd be out.
Right.
This is my 27th year with the team, you know what I mean, or whatever, since 1986. I've been with the national team, and I'm telling you, those kids, it would go boom, chuck, boom, chuck, boom, chuck, chuck. You know what I mean? Like, no question about it, okay? And that's what I'm saying is that...
If that sucks, but not much change for you in terms of insurance costs, no.
That a person's able to just
I'm like,
connect,
fucked.
okay?
Because I don't have a United States address.
You're screwed. You know what I mean? You got to be able to
so I can't, like, get state
that's
help.
what I'm saying is that...
Essentially, like, in the eyes of the law, I'm homeless.
And you have to be doing therapeutic touch, not any other touch, because that sensations can be relayed through.
So I have all of the like bureaucratic issues of homelessness, but none of the like day to day like
that's my issue.
Lifestyle problems of being homeless.
So long ago, you know what I mean? But it's what I do all the time. So where did
So how is this guy treating his male patients? Yeah, he doesn't have any.
You know what I mean? I'm just trying to figure out, was I off? Was I sick? Wasn't sick? You know what I mean? I only get 5 hours of sleep usually a night anyways, you know, but that's normal. Like, did I get less than that night? You know, what made me out of sync? What made me not be able to recognize that I was making a patient uncomfortable? Okay?
So generally, do they verbalize that? Or a
You're
combination
making
thereof?
me uncomfortable, and I know that you cannot touch me through this screen. Like, and you don't even have your fingers in my vag.
So
Jesus.
That's what I'm saying, is when they're uncomfortable like that, there's been 3 cases, and all 3 of them were sexually abused.
Earlier in the interview, Nassar stated there had never been any complaints about his practices, but changes it here to state that there now have been 3 complaints.
And she
sent
let
on
him go.
before.
She did not
And
catch
according to
that
him,
inconsistency
they were all
for
false
real?
and had been made because the person had been sexually abused before. Nassar is trying to once again discredit the
You know,
complaint
I own my
sent
home
in
in
on him
Seattle, right?
by
If you
saying
wanted
that
to list my
Amanda
address
had
as
been
yours, I
too
could forward whatever
traumatized
and
by
just say
prior
your
abuse
resident of
to
my
realize
property
he
to
was
know if
just
that'd be
doing his
helpful.
job.
I
O'Brien
would
failed
have to,
notice
like,
the change in answer, and
there's a
instead
lot of
agrees with
things
Nassar.
that I would have to do in order to take advantage of that that I think would be a big issue, Quinn. But I will tell you, we have to hang out soon anyway, and we can talk about it then, if you want to. I appreciate that offer, by the way. I can't believe I didn't lead with that. That's a very kind offer.
I'm the one on the other, that's what I'm saying, is I'm the one on the other side of the table now, you know? It's like, so I'm like, how did I, if say...
You don't have a visa with Canadian government, they usually make you put a home address for that. I do not have a visa.
That's my job. Why would I miss that? Because then it's my job to bring help to that. You see what I'm saying? So where am I
Weird
losing
human avoid. I don't find him charismatic even remotely, but I feel like a lot of that is like the hindsight bias. He makes my skin crawl. He like he just feels creepy and gross to me.
So that's why I'm like, 3 times. Okay? And so that's, no, there's been other than that, and each one of them were in the past sexually abused. You know, and so, but I'm the one who brings it up.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You know, she's way uncomfortable for what I'm doing. You know, without them even having to verbalize. Okay, because
how did she not catch him in this lie, in this inconsistency? This is infuriating to me.
You know what I mean? So then
it's like if Jerry Lewis was a. Yeah, I get uncomfortable from him, but I can see how it'd be written off, and it's annoying. Some people don't have that kind of vibe check with others.
So you
yeah, that's also so super fair, especially as like a teenager, right? That it is already kind of a cattle. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're always on display and stuff. Like, as a student athlete, like, you are naked in front of people a lot, and like people see you in like ultra tight clothes and stuff, and there are people touching your body lots of ways. But like, I just can't believe that these parents didn't work harder to teach them the difference between what touches are appropriate and what aren't. Also, oh shit, I assumed you had a visa. Pain?
I'm the person
are you moving to Canada then? I'm working on moving to Canada, yes. But I like it. We have a lot of steps that we have to take before I even become a permanent resident. Oh, so a little bit of trivia here. In February of last year, this officer was arrested for drunk driving and possession of a concealed firearm, her sidearm, while intoxicated. That is... wow. Also, Catalin, thank you so much for looking out for me. I will hydrate right this instant.
Throughout the examination, she did say everything that you were telling me is along what she said. Hey, it was a lengthy examination. Went through these exercises. You were working on basically her whole entire body. So everything you're walking me through here, and you're.
I thought that would be funny to slap the jug, but the condensation on the outside of the bottle just sprayed everywhere, including in my eyes.
And then she said that she felt
her syrup to blood transfusion hasn't taken yet. Not quite. Not quite, bud.
The manipulation.
We're getting there, though.
Okay.
So that'd be the first piece.
Right, okay.
So you want to talk about that first piece as what it is you were doing.
Right. When you're working ribs, okay, if you can't use the arm, if your shoulder, it's like, okay, the muscle energy part, I'll crack a back. Okay, so we crack a back.
It sucks that you need to explain to your 10 to 14-year-old about sex and being touched. It does suck. It does suck, but
so when I'm doing stretches, okay, you're on the
pedophiles don't have the resources they need to
again,
get
if you have
help,
videos
and
of
they
that
end up
too,
having to fucking hide
that
this
would
shit
be
away
helpful.
instead of get help for it.
Not that you necessarily have videos of everything.
And then this stuff happens. I kind of know visa process, but not for Canada. Only Poland because I had to have a visa to stay in Europe for more than 3 months. Yeah, between America and Canada, it's a lot more lax, but like there are definitely still rules that I have to adhere to. I'm only allowed to be here for 6 months at a time. And we're it's all there's a lot that we have to do. We have to save up a shitload of money, but like
lecturing on because I treated
this is not happening.
I took stuff off the
Everybody exists in this economy and understands, right? Okay, so okay, we have the right amount of stitches this time, and that makes me really happy. Okay, I'm really, really happy to see that. Why is he still just showing her all of this child porn, dude? How is he able to get away with it? Like, just... It's so upsetting.
Lots of lectures. All right. OMM, ATC, for example. Ribs, ATC, rough.
I especially hate the way that he sounds when he's half whispering. He's so disgusting. Right, Stitches, let's go.
Okay, so, this is Dr. Greenman, like I was talking about, okay? So you can see his hand placements, okay? So what I tell people is when you're working on the ribs, okay, I don't like to stand on the side. I do it sideline, okay? When I do it, I'll be at their head or I do it sideline. Okay? And I tell people, don't come in this way. That's offensive. Come in this way. Okay? If you come in over their head, that's offensive. You know what I mean? It's just the way that I talk about it. So I actually come off from the side. Okay? And
He's
then
talking
I'll
about
turn
what's
their head
medically
and what's that
offensive?
way.
Excuse
But that, to
me?
is a lot. When you come at someone this way, that's more.
I mean, would it have? Many of his victims did know that he was what he was doing wrong. They did report it, and they got beaten into submission by all the people around him. Wait, what are we talking about? Did I say something? A little discomfort from a parent having a talk could have saved a lot of pain and grief. Okay, I feel like that. Okay.
It's the rib cage.
I'm hoping to one day annex my property to Canada. I genuinely have no idea what that means. I'm so sorry. I'm too stupid for whatever you just said. His jean shorts offend me. Also, I feel like he's getting off on showing off what he did, but also getting away with it.
So while you're doing
I did
this,
not
you explain,
even
I mean,
consider that. I did not even fucking consider that. Holy
Barry has
shit.
completely abandoned his previous timid,
Hi, Pond Water.
facade, and in a truly
Good to see
strange
you.
moment,
How are you?
yelled at the interrogator in a joking fashion. If he was worried about coming across as guilty or having anything to hide earlier, he was completely relaxed now, to the point where this casual outburst is simply accepted.
That's why I'm like, is that because there's okay? If that doesn't work, I'm gonna change my hand position.
Def, thank you so much. Weird. I feel like it has not been a month since you came in here and did that. Is it just like having you do that over and over? I hope it's not charging you over and over.
I understand what you're doing, you know, or anything along those.
Make my house and land a part of Canada, deep in California.
She did say,
Okay, I
you know,
gotcha.
While you were working on her, that you did say, you know, does
Oh
this
no,
feel
I
better?
broke
That you
Doxy.
were
No,
upset.
like I feel
What
like
her perception is that you weren't explaining what you were gonna do.
I just feel like you're right, and I can't believe that I didn't consider that. But also,
But that she
I
was
feel like
very
it's
well
smart
aware
of you to have
during
considered
what you were
it.
doing that
So
you were
is
saying,
that me
you know, how
being
does this
full of
feel?
myself?
Does this feel better? And
Or
then
is
she
that
would
me
answer,
having
you
little
know,
faith in my fellow man? In which case, I
so again,
apologize for having little faith in you. But I don't feel like I have little faith in you because I think that you're mega smart. That's my train of thought. It goes a lot of places. Okay? All aboard? Woo! I'm making that paper now if it is. But I don't think it's charging me. Okay, good. How are you, bud? I love you. Miss you.
I'm sorry, I can tell you everything. I have no problem telling you.
Did she say something like, I feel offended, or what are you doing, or can you explain
You
it
missed
to me
the
better?
revelation?
So what she's saying is that while you were, what she said,
oh my
you were
gosh.
having
So
her breath,
Def is one of my
what
best
she
friends
said
in this
is
life.
that at some point she tells you, okay, you don't need to work on my shoulder anymore.
We
Okay,
lived
I don't need
together
to
for
work
a
on my
hot
shoulder.
minute.
Had, like, longer term
It was
issues
awesome.
that need more work than that.
We would get
Do you
drunk
remember
and
that at
sing
all?
Disney songs.
I don't remember, honestly.
Okay.
But so did I stop working on her shoulder, or what did I do?
I missed the revelation that he's getting off on showing her and getting away with it.
Yeah.
So I didn't do anything against her wishes. I mean, right? She said to stop, I stopped, okay?
So what she feels, and again, this is her perception and what she
Okay.
feels, and you're showing me videos, you're
God damn
explaining
it, I
everything
fucked
to
this
which
up.
makes sense
I didn't really fuck it up. I
What
just made
she's
this
saying
stitch
is that, initially
really
your
tight, so it's
hand
gonna be hard for me to
goes
fucking
kind of
put this
on her
where
top shoulder area and slightly
it goes.
on the top of her
And Take Me to
breast,
Church over and
then
over
move
again. I
down.
still suck at
Again,
that
which-
song.
yeah.
I am like
To-
not a
to
bad
what she
singer,
calls
but I
like
am
a
bad at
full
singing
frontal
that song. Well, I am a bad singer, but like
side of
I'm
your breast.
It
So-
wasn't- okay, go
a lot better
I
than
understand
I
her
used to be. I
perception.
don't know
Yeah,
how
and so-
to explain
You can
it.
obviously see how she could
Sometimes
feel
it
that.
sounds nice when I
and there's-
sing.
when we do
I have
myofascial,
no formal
too,
training.
You are having
My
to breathe
technique
it.
is
Take a
flawed.
deep breath, exhale, and you're doing
But
that,
sometimes I can
okay?
sound really nice
As
when
you're
I sing
breathing,
some
you're-
things.
you're
That
doing
song,
that motion
not
to
one
try
of
and
those
stretch the
things.
fascia, okay? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're perfectly fine. It's good for you to talk a lot, right? Because then it's more for me to know. So I'm not going to stop you from talking. I
Sorry
prefer you
about
talk more
that,
than less.
everybody.
So you're not going to hurt my feelings.
Right.
So what her perception is that she didn't know that was going to be done,
Okay.
but that there was the communication throughout that,
Okay.
hey, how does this feel? Does this feel better? Does this not feel better? And then she said she got to a point where she felt
Okay.
uncomfortable. and
So
she
I am
felt
going
it was
to
inappropriate,
Okay.
and went to
take
the line of
out
being
a
from
bunch of these stitch markers really quick.
medical manipulation to being inappropriate, at which time that she had said, hey, I think you've hurt my shoulder now. I
Ages
don't
ago,
need
legit
to
when I was in like
shoulder now."
primary school and stuff,
And
watching
again, I know
just
you
came
see
back
a lot
when
of
you live a
patients.
few weeks
I
ago,
just
had
don't
no
know if,
idea.
you know,
That's
you
fantastic.
remember
Yeah, me and Def
anything
lived
specific
together.
to that, or
I don't remember whether it was
That's
1
what I
year or
wondering,
2 years.
But at least I would do if someone said.
But we lived
said,
together
okay,
for a hot
I
minute, and
think
it
you're
was
talking about my
dope.
stop.
It was
Yeah.
really
which is what she
glorious.
said you did.
Right. So okay, go ahead.
I missed
So
that
that's the
apartment
first
so
piece of
much.
it. Then she
I
said
loved that
in the first
apartment.
video
It
that you
was,
showed me where she's obviously
man,
flat
it was
on
the
her
last
stomach.
time that I felt like
And then what she says again,
super
just like you're showing me,
secure
you're explaining
and
to me, is
at
that,
home
your hand had
was
went
in
in
that
between your butt
apartment.
cheek,
Right.
and then she said
And
it had
it's
went
not because,
more
like,
towards
not
your
to say
vagina
that
and
I
your vagina
am
hole.
uncomfortable living here with
That's
Josiah.
the way
It's just
she's
that, like,
explaining
with
it.
all of
So-
this, like,
and again, I'm not
resident
using
stuff
medical
going
terms, I'm
on,
using
all
her
of the
terms,
immigration
right?
stuff that I have yet to
So what
do,
she says that
it's
you're
really
gonna
hard
be
for me
fine
to,
for
like,
vagina
relax and
hole,
sink
and then
into
she
it
felt
like
that
I
then
could in that
there was
apartment.
massaging
I
Okay.
nature,
loved
and
that
that she felt
apartment.
that had went on for too long. And
It
then
was
you had
not
to
a nice
explain to
apartment,
her
but
prior
I
to
loved it.
Doing it, so it was unexpected to her that she didn't know that
Okay,
was
so
coming.
1, 2,
And then when you
3.
were doing it, that she felt like it was
Was
not.
I talking to her during the time though, like I normally
So
do?
she says, yes, again, that how does this feel? Does this feel better?
Right.
And she
With
says
the
that
fourth
initially she
line.
says, yes, it
Yeah,
does
so
feel
we're
better.
about to
So
do
you continue.
Right.
The
And then
fifth
she says that at some
row.
point that she says that she felt that it was hurting.
I'm going
so
to
she
start
says,
taking these
"Hey,
stitches out and
it
only
hurts,
marking
stop."
every 5.
And then you said you stopped at that time again.
Okay.
I loved it too. A lot of good
That's what I'm
memories.
saying. It's
You do have a
it's
ghost upstairs too there.
It's an interaction, and
We don't have a ghost
I don't-
upstairs here.
I don't know how to say this, but that would be.
I
appropriate.
forgot
It's
about
like,
flooding
you know,
the
you're
fucking
working
bathroom.
out
Ugh.
and You're trying to and
Take me to church,
trying
I'll
to
worship like a dog
do the
at the
work.
shrine of
You
your
need
lies.
that feedback from
I
the
will tell you
patient.
my sins so
And
you
I'm
can
getting
sharpen the
it.
knife.
And
I do not know why. Like, it is
I'm
just
talking-
not
I'm
in my
talking my way
register,
through
man.
it,
I
as
just
she said
cannot
it
sing
was.
that song and
You know
have
what
it
I mean? And so-
feel or sound
and,
right. How long have you been in Canada then? How
I
long do
might
you have
have-
left?
if- again,
Technically, the last time I entered Canada was in January, so I still have a couple months. But I'm just gonna turn around and come right back because I can just be gone for a day and come back.
Okay, so if you check the notes, okay, and see, you know what I mean? If there
What if your
is
bathroom
a-
is soup?
okay,
That would be nice.
check the
Also, hi
notes.
Kool-Aid. It's good to see you. How are you?
Maybe, because sometimes I'll do that. If it's a repeat patient, I don't explain it all over again.
Doxy, I
It's my
appreciate
first
your
time.
existence. I
You know what I mean?
appreciate
So
your
that's what I'm saying.
existence,
So have
human
you
wood
done
boy.
this
You
type
stuff
of-
it. Cool.
I don't know if I did it on her.
When you
the
master
first
saying the
time or
word
not.
baby, you'll gain the
What
ability
I'm
to
saying
sing
is
that song to your
was
liking.
treatment
You know what,
plan.
Kool-Aid, you little
know, like,
fucker, you
okay,
listen
this is
here.
what we do when you come in, you know, this is the process or whatever. I might have explained it to her the first visit. Now make the appointment
I
and
just
come in,
can't
you know what I
sound
mean, and
cool
we'll do
saying the
the
word
second time. So it
baby.
might have been
I
like,
always
you know,
sound like
okay, the
a
first
fucking
time the initial was,
insecure
"Well, I'm
dorkazoid.
okay, so
It's
we'll go
no
with this,"
good.
And I would have explained things in the first visit about what we're going to do the next visit.
Kool-Aid, I'm going to
So
physically
that
fight
was a
you.
follow-up. I usually don't explain as much because I think I explained a lot and I just get to work and I talk through it. So that would be part of the document.
So I am afraid it is not that glamorous. I have to fucking go across the border, sleep in my car, and come back. Like, I cannot afford to just be in Niagara for 3 days. I wish I could. That'd be sick.
Right. Obviously, I would need to search.
You best visit next time you're in the States too. I absolutely promise I will.
Yeah, and so,
This time we're working on trying to get me to Iowa for a little while so that I can visit like my family and my buds.
So that's what I'm saying is that it's.
But we hit a real financial snag today
If I explain stuff, a lot
that
of times I'll
is
explain
a
in the first visit,
huge blow to our
okay,
progress, and it has been so fucking.
This whole thing is getting changed
It's been
because
brutal. Also,
I cannot
nice
have
vampire.
anyone
Thank you so
leave
much for
me
following. I
like that.
appreciate
You know
you.
what I mean?
Thank
That's
you.
the bottom line, you know what I mean? So
Right, which is why you're here today, obviously.
Exactly,
Right.
because there's no way. So I mean, lots of things.
You
have
make
to
me
change
feel
to
like
protect
when
myself
you
from having that.
unpop your ears while you're listening to a really dope song, and then you're just like, oh man, this song is slapping extra hard now. That's the feeling I just got from you following my channel.
With Dr. Kovan and Dr. Dietzel, you know,
Okay.
like, okay, you know, we need
Okay.
to do this, we need to do that. We're talking about policy changes, you know what I mean? So that, because we all go in the rooms.
So yeah, 1, 2,
You know, my wife
3,
just asked
4.
about
So this next
all the
meeting
alliance,
will be
you know,
room
she
5,
gets-
which is
she
sick.
gets sometimes her exam done, which is the doctor in the room, you know?
That can be one of my questions.
It's just zero doxy. Big wolf paws, ZER0DOXY. Let me warn you, you get zero.
Okay, so then does the
Zero
resident, again,
benefits
just
besides
accept
just
it?
having an
Does the resident
extra
stay in the room the whole
heads
time,
up
or they
when
can go
stuff goes into my shop.
They usually go in first. You know what I mean? So I don't know if
Oh, you're in Halifax? I don't know why I thought you were in Ottawa, aka no, you're thinking of Toronto. No, I'm in Halifax. Why would you willingly go to Iowa? Iowa is legit heaven on earth. I fucking love Iowa. Boots with the fur. Hello, how are you? I'm sorry that I just fucking peaked my microphone really bad. I just got very excited because I understand that reference.
I will be in the room either.
Iowa is where Doxy and I am from, and it's hella dope there. Don't listen to her if she says otherwise. I love Iowa. I love Iowa so much. I just can't fucking hang in the United States anymore. I can't do it. Also, the love of my life lives in Canada, and I'm going to marry him and produce him children. You're welcome. How are you? I just got home from a concert in the park. Did you have a good time? That sounds so fun. That sounds so fun and nice.
I teach some of the residents if they're TOs that do manual medicine. Some of these techniques.
My hair is
like, put your hand here, do
on my
that,
dang
do that,
nerves. I'll tell you that much for
Once in
free.
that room, if you're ready, you can,
All right,
you know,
let's
so
we
it's
just
like
have to
T1,
single
T1,
crochet
T2,
around
T2,
now,
so,
and
you
I
know,
can
it
replace
depends on which residence
the
it
stitch
is.
markers
You
for
know,
this
it's
row
to
with
where
the
there
stitch
are,
markers
you
from
know,
the last
rotation
row
training.
because we
But,
are not
yeah,
having
the
that
resident
counting
could
problem that
actually
we were having before.
So do you remember in this specific incident, like when
I guess
the
I'm
resident
okay
left,
with not
or was it
envisioning what a
there?
sexy doxy sounds like. No offense. I hope not. None taken.
If there was
I have
resident,
big
that would
stepmom
be,
energy. It's so
Dr.
okay.
Kovan actually, not just said that, Dr. Kovan did bring up that the resident left.
Somebody
If
told me
there was
that,
a
and it made me
resident
really happy. And now
So
I
if the
just,
resident left the room,
I'm
you're supposed to
obsessed with it.
finish.
I love the idea of me
And
having
the only reason
stepmom
why the
energy.
resident left the room was to let a new patient come in.
It's in the USA, so I am legally obligated as a Canadian. Oh my God, I can't read. It's in the USA, so I am legally obliged, even as a Canadian citizen, to
Is
dunk on
that,
it.
you know,
Sorry,
she
not sorry.
felt
Fair enough.
comfortable while the resident was in there, because obviously there's two people.
Yep, it was a
in there.
Chicago
The resident
tribute
was
band. Fun.
fine.
I
And
took
then
my
she said that when
date,
this occurred,
who's old enough to be my mom.
there was no
Hey,
one
I'm
in
no
the
judge.
room, and she
Mom's
did
got to
not
get some
see,
too.
you know, what the intention of
Doxy,
that
you plan to
was.
have kids? It seems like no one my age plans to have kids. I love kids,
Yeah, so it depends on
but I
when
don't
that
plan to have any.
resident was in the room.
I didn't want any until I fell madly in love with Josiah, and now I want to give him children. I really want to. Time is running out.
desired.
So it might not happen in the traditional way, which would be fine with both of us.
You know what I mean? And I don't know if that
Because we are both willing to adopt as well. But I think that
Do you know
he
who
and
the
I,
resident
raising a
was
child, would
for that
do
one?
more
Do you have
good
a
than
specific
harm
resident
in
assigned
the
to you, or
world.
residents assigned to you?
We have no, they rotate through on, if you're
Okay.
a medical student. I don't
Big
even
Wolf
know
Pass, I
if it's
appreciate you.
I'm not
Okay.
a medical student.
All right.
Okay, so, but that's normal for a lot of us, you know what I mean? Like, they go in and see a patient, so they're in the room by themselves.
I'm sorry,
with
what the
patients.
fuck?
That's what
Okay.
it is.
Would Dr. Coleman,
I have to
who-
undo
do
this
you know
and
who would
start
have that
over because I
information as
forgot
to
to mark.
which resident was
That-
with
Yeah,
you
this
that
is the
day?
first,
That
the
Vicky
first
Curley,
issue there.
our
I need
office
to mark it
manager.
right away.
Okay.
Would be able to figure that out, I think, you know what I mean? Because there should
Also,
be a
don't do
rotation
that.
graph or whatever.
Okay.
So, Vicky Curley, our office
Also,
manager,
I
would know that.
definitely
you know,
just
so do you want
crocheted
me
into the
to try and get
wrong
that information to
fucking
you?
I can call.
stitch
just
last
because
time, so I'm
obviously
glad I
don't
did
wanna
that.
touch the-
I'm glad I caught
they-
that.
Yeah,
one.
because obviously they were in a room, it sounds like for almost.
gonna do a
I
second
would
one
go
just
as
so
far as,
that
like 3/4.
It's easier to,
of
but
the
then we will
examination
put
time.
a stitch
Right.
marker
So
in
obviously
there.
we
And
wanna
I know
talk
that
to
I
that
just said
resident
that
to
we'll
find
use the
out,
ones from the
hey,
previous
what did
row, but
you
we want to
observe
leave
during
the
the-
first.
What do you awful women
What
want?
do you awful
Mr.
women
Cat
want?
hosting with 3
how
viewers.
did
Thank
feel
you so
about
much for the raid. I appreciate it. Quick warning, we're watching true crime. It's about a pedophile. So if that's not your jam, deuces, we understand. Otherwise, welcome. Thank you so much for the raid, Ashire Cat. I appreciate you.
And so then,
We are just
you were trying to
crocheting
schedule a
and listening
follow-up
to
with
true
her.
crime, and I'm bitching about how terrible I am at both of these things.
It's like, okay, if they respond well, I'm like,
OMG,
okay,
a
we'll do
baby
once a week for
doxy.
like
I
3
would love
weeks,
to
and
have a
then
baby.
usually
I would
it's
love
like
to have a
once week
baby
for
now.
3
Like,
weeks.
okay, so
Then usually
truth
it's
be
something
told,
where
my
you're like,
history
hey,
with
you
like
gotta
wanting
get better,
children
spread
is
out,
really
we'll
shaky.
put an
I,
appointment out there for
when I was
that
younger,
day.
I was like, I want to have 4 boys. I want my house to be full of fucking boogers and wedgies and football, and I want to have like an all-American household and all the pick-me girl stuff that I believed. And then I started to get old, and I was like, you know what? I'm way too old to have a baby, and I am like not good at taking care of myself enough to feel like I would be able to do right by a child. And then also, I'm kind of an environmentalist, and like the worst thing that you can do for the environment is have a baby. But then I met Josiah, and all of my selfish girly parts started to be like, let's do baby things. And now I'm gonna do it. Ew, boys. Yeah. I know.
Feedback that I was
I
getting
know.
was, okay, she's getting better. You know, that's the way that I was. The communication, reciprocation. That's what I was.
Doxy, it
feeling.
would be easier to
Okay,
adopt an adult.
so
You want to just adopt me?
that's the
Do you
confusion, I guess.
do you truly want me to be your mother?
Where did I?
Do you truly
not
want that?
Sense any bodily changes, you know, because obviously she said, okay, you know, that's good or whatever, and I was done, you know what I mean? So there was no other mannerisms that I
Did I put it in the wrong fucking
there's
one?
no
I
other
did
manners
put
that
it in
I
the
could
wrong
figure out how
fucking
I would
one.
know that she
Fuck
found
me,
it
dude.
comfortable.
Sorta.
And
Okay.
That's what I'm getting at is why that's
I
why
feel like I would
I'm
be an
having-
awesome
I'm
mom
like,
with the
okay,
support of
okay.
Josiah.
When did I see that patient? What did I do? What clues? What am I missing?
I feel like me and Josiah would be a
Okay,
fucking
because
phenomenal
this is
parenting team.
a normal.
In a not weird way. We'd just hang out a lot and I'd call you father.
That's why I'm like.
What would you
why
call
is this
Josiah?
person
Just also
not
father?
finding
And then when you're talking about your parents, you could just be like, yeah, my
And
dad's.
so that's.
And then we show up. Okay, I love everything about this plan. I'm running it by Josiah after stream. Oh, Eldana, thank you for looking out for me with the hydrate. I can't believe I missed it. I'm so sorry.
yeah.
That would be Mama King.
It is what it is, but that's what.
Thank
I'm
you,
like,
Quinn. I like to think so. I think that I would be. I feel like I
reason.
feel like the most important part about being a parent is like listening to your kid and saying you're sorry when you're wrong and like having your kid trust you. You know what I mean?
This is
That's how you like not fuck up a kid.
me. I don't know. You know, it's like.
I don't know.
And so
And I feel like
don't
I
know
would be very
what
good at doing
created
that.
that created this. Out of
I've
all the
honestly
times
had
that
doubts
I've
about
done
bringing a
this.
child into the world with how bad the world is going downhill at the moment. Yeah, capitalism is legit crumbling underneath
Obviously, like you said, you're
the
not
weight
somebody
of the
who's worked on
oligarchs,
things.
hey?
I mean, hey, it's really uncomfortable. or
Yeah, I
that
mean,
it's-
you would get that, and you would get that tendency. You know what I mean? You get that.
Ashia Cat
So do you
Sparkler.
remember her, and I
Oh my
have
God, that's so nice. Ashire Cat, thank
she
you.
said, you know,
Good. You guys are being so supportive and wonderful.
you don't remember her
Huh?
saying that as far as that.
It's gonna make me cry over here.
All I'm doing is
You guys
generalization.
humble
Like,
me.
I know that if I
You
was-
guys humble
if I was
me.
treating her in that way, this
Truly.
is what I must have been doing. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Because that's standard. That's
Okay.
okay. So
Yeah,
you
I
know,
just,
to
I'm
remember-
sorry, I had to get a hold of myself for a
how
second.
can I
It's
honestly
been a
say
day.
I
You guys are the
remember
best.
details of every part of it? That's not.
Okay.
That's not.
Feel
Yeah,
anxious about bringing a
I'm asking
child
because that's
into a
just
planet
because
that's
I
dying,
help
but
people.
I've wanted to be a mom my whole
And then
ass
as
life,
far
and I
as
love
when we
kids.
were down, you know, buying
I'm a
her
silly
vagina,
goose like that. Like, I
is
get
that
it.
something
Yeah,
that you
no, I'm
remember
with
as
you.
far as her saying, you know, that her
Yeah,
or
understanding that
child
children
or
are tiny
anything like
humans,
that?
not tiny property, that's huge. Like, you just have to show them
If she said stop
the
for work,
respect
I
that you would show your friends, but you also have to, like, be a parent, right? It's,
What I should do. That's, so if she said
it
that,
should
that
be the
should
most
my
natural
response.
thing in the world. I
Okay?
just,
So that's
yeah. I love
hopefully
your
what
streams.
it is.
Thanks, bud.
And so I hope
That's
I
just a
stopped
real
it.
nice
It's
thing to
okay,
say.
whatever, so, but,
I was ready to be a dad for a long time.
I
You,
mean,
like, just have dad energy, though.
clear in my
Your
mind
dad
that
initiation.
obviously
I'm sure that
I
you've
was
heard
doing
that 1,000
techniques
times
and
since
trying
you've
to
had
explain
her.
to as I'm
I
going
could barely
through
take care of myself, let alone a
and,
child that
you know,
can't function on their own.
well,
Madison Dragon, that's how I
obviously,
felt for a long time,
so
too.
there's
But once I
gonna
found
be
somebody
a,
that, like, I was...
disconnect that occurred, and how come I wasn't aware of that disconnect? That's
I
gonna be
lost what
my
I was saying in the
issue.
middle of it. I'm so sorry.
is
I have
why-
no idea what I was in the
why
middle of
didn't
saying. I apologize.
understand that at that time?
Ugh, I've been taking a shot of
That's why I
Jameson
have
every
issue
time you're
with
reminded to hydrate for weeks now, but I think I'm
that's-
gonna stop
that's my
doing that.
biggest-
People care about you too much.
That's
Sorry,
my issue
Quinn.
that I gotta
We
fix.
love one another,
That's
and
from
here in Doxy Chat.
But
That's a fun little mini game that you made for yourself, though. My parents were not good parents. I was abused and shit, so I want to give my kids what I never got, and also just have trust
that's
and
my
respect.
self-torture.
Yeah,
That's
understanding that bond from the other side would be really nice, especially
Yes, you were
knowing that I will be
victimized.
doing
Yes,
a better
I was
job.
victimized
No offense to my mother, she was
okay, because
great, but like I would do
hurting
better than
someone
she
like
did.
that ain't right.
I'll
okay?
gladly
It's
babysit my
not
friends'
right.
kids, though. Yeah,
Larry
hell
had
yeah.
earlier in the interrogation
I love
made soft
babysitting friends'
allusions to
kids.
the
I love
idea that
babysitting my
he,
nieces.
alongside Amanda, was a victim in this situation.
I
but
love my
here
nieces
he
so
outright
fucking
states
much,
as much,
man. My nieces
calling
are
even
the
being questioned
dopest.
his own personal
Before I was a dad,
torture.
someone
He
told
has
me I was
already
the most
stated
dad,
numerous
not dad
times
person
that
they
he is
knew,
well
so
aware
yeah,
of these
like,
kinds of misunderstandings
though.
that can often arise from what
Oh,
he does,
yeah, sure,
but
so
now
get-
states
get
that to
some
even
rest,
be
bud.
questioned at all is hell.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying. That's why that hurts
5.
me to hurt her, if that makes sense.
Yep,
you know
I'm
what I
following
mean?
you, yep.
So, anyways, that's what I'm going to have to live with. That's plain and
6.
simple. Okay, and that's why I keep rolling in my head. So I need other safeguards, because if I
7.
can't find out why, I got to have other safeguards built in
8.
that is other than my own use of force.
9.
Okay.
Okay, this
Because
is
I need to
exactly
have
what should
some
be
other- so
happening.
it's
The
gotta change.
10th one,
Because
every
it's
time,
done.
should be
It's-
going
all
into
these
one with
years
a
of work
stitch
is gonna
marker.
flush it.
That's what we
You know,
like
so-
to see,
because
folks.
I cannot do that to
This
another
fucking
person.
lady,
I cannot do
goddammit,
that.
sorry, I tuned out the pedophile and just
You know, so it's
have
tough,
been
you know,
reading
totally
chat for a minute
different,
because I
you
needed the
know, so-
breather.
but it's gotta change.
Kids are smarter than most adults
Right.
realize. Just talk to
Which
them
is
without
true, because, like you said,
condescension
I
and
mean,
honesty,
we
and it
make
will
sure
go
that
so
everyone's
far. Yeah.
covered.
Like, I mean, if your kid can't trust you, what in the world can they trust?
Yeah.
You're thinking like a police officer.
Like,
I'm
I-
thinking like a- I don't-
My mom didn't want to have difficult
Yeah, I am a
conversations with me.
police
She
officer,
didn't want to
right?
address my
Yeah.
depression. She
It's
didn't
not
want to
about
address
coverage, it's about morals
the
and
abuse
ethics
that I
and how
was
people
facing. She
feel.
didn't want to
Right,
address
which is your
my
job to
eating
see.
disorder. She didn't want to address a bunch of things that I
Right,
really
we're on the
needed
same
addressed,
page. We're on
and
the same
I
page.
This
want
man had molested over
my
100
child to
girls
know
at
that
this
they can
point,
trust
and in
me
the
when it
middle
comes
of
to
the
stuff like
interrogation
that.
for another claim is laughing and hiding his head flirtily at the interrogator.
He turns 4
If
on the
there is any
27th,
clip
and
in
I
this
can't believe it. It
investigation
only
that
gets
makes my
faster,
blood
Catalan. It's
boil, it is this
crazy.
one.
Everyone tells me I'd be a good dad
So
because
those
I'm
are
great with
videos.
kids, but the main
Those
reason I'm good with kids
show
is that I know I can
more
run away
in
from them at any
detail.
moment and go
I know
home
you
where
said
they
they're
can't
graphic,
get
but
me.
based on, like,
Yeah,
the exact
that
details
helps.
of where they're
Front
at.
end, and I'm
That
talking about
helps.
between the veg, and the rectal area.
Okay.
And I'm working up.
But I'm
further
definitely
with
ready
kids,
to.
but I don't have any videos of the.
I would,
the
if it were
techniques
in the
for the
cards,
rib
if we were
cage, you know
able
what I mean,
to
other than
comfortably
electric.
financially
Okay.
do so,
And-
I
and
would.
that's, you know,
I bet you anything me and
because
Josiah would
that's
just start
like-
trying.
gotta say, that's like.
I'm starting to better understand why so many of the killers we see think, oh yeah, I can talk my way out of this. Looking at this shit with this person who's supposedly done this shit for years, and he's like openly displaying every red flag, and she's just willfully overlooking them all.
You can open up any.
Yeah, I wish that this wasn't the first fucking lady cop that we've seen.
I don't have any videos of that.
No, that's fine. Even if you send me like the few pictures that
Look,
you
I
showed me,
am
that would be more
embarrassed
than
as a woman
sufficient because
that
I
she,
can
as
see
a
my
grown
placement.
woman
I'm
and a
reversed.
fucking law
I'm looking
officer,
at her head, and that's
does
what
not
I'm like,
recognize
I would have had her on
a
her side,
video of
too.
molestation in front of
So I
her.
would have had her on her side.
Lady
And
cops
then
are
I'm
still cops,
compressing,
yeah.
Because when you do the fascial,
Really relate to that doxing. My mother is a
releases,
professional
you can
social
do
worker,
it
but she
sitting,
legit ignored
okay?
self-harm scars,
But
visits
I like
from
to lay them
Child
either
Protective
down or on
Services,
their
suicide
side,
notes, concern from
okay?
teachers,
And
etc.
then you
Yeah.
can compress better front
Yeah.
to back.
I'm sorry. I'm
Okay?
sorry.
And
It
then I've got
sounds.
control
I
of
feel
the
like you are so
you can
similar to
compress
me,
the-
Soph.
if
I
you're
feel
on
like
the
we are
fourth
just
rib,
so
fifth rib,
similar.
third rib,
I feel
you
that
know,
way
the
with a
scapula
few of my
has to
viewers, but I feel like
bend.
you and I have
The way
a
your-
really similar
the way your shoulder
story.
moves, the scapula has to move, and that's why rowers get so many rib problems.
She's probably not a
because they're
mom.
using the
Yeah, I
serratus
don't
and
know.
scapula.
I don't
And so
know.
when you wanna
I'm not a
release the
mom,
rib
and I feel
cage,
like I would
you
recognize this.
compress from
But
the costa
again,
to
like
the
all I
costa
can
vertebral
do is
compression,
tell myself
okay?
that I
And then if
have
you
the
use scapula,
hindsight
get it out of the way, but
goggles
if I'm
on,
working
you know?
rib 4, rib 5, rib 3, they're
I don't know.
that's breast. You know what I mean? That's breast, and that's breast. But it's compression. It's And so if she said I was massaging, it would have been like, does that feel better there? Does that feel better there? Take a deep breath. How's that type of thing. So take a deep breath.
That is also
move your
true,
arm
humanoid
up.
void.
I
What
would-
video did
then-
you see?
then
Oh
should-
my
then
God,
back,
Kool-Aid, I'm
and I
gonna
would,
pause
like,
this and
turn your
address
head,
you.
and
Give
then
me a
one
second.
hand would
Okay.
have been here
So
pushing out.
this guy is Larry Nassar. He was not a doctor and talked his way into being a doctor for children that were like specifically for children that were on track to become Olympians. And he used his position to molest children instead of medically treat them. Eventually he did become a doctor, but he kept molesting them anyway. What else was I? Oh, so he took a video of him doing these procedures, his molestation, so that he could like try to easier talk his way out of it. He made PowerPoint presentations about how how there are pressure points in the vagina that can help heal injuries around the body. And so like this was like a therapy that he specialized in or whatever. And he had a bunch of people around him fooled, and it is sickening. Well, I can't even tell you how often I lose my entire appetite. Like, it's almost every night I get to feeling fucking sick from watching what we watch. Worst TED Talk ever. Like, legit. He's just showing this lady cop a video of him molesting a young athlete. Kool-Aid. It's so bizarre. Oh, James, thank you so much for the biddies. I appreciate you
Rocks
very
18
much.
cheer.
Thank you.
I'm here between the breasts,
I accidentally
and
fat fingered that, but I
also
think that
sometimes
we're ready
cross-
anyway. This is
cross
off
panel,
topic, but what are your
okay?
thoughts on the
So
Johnny
if you're
Depp case?
doing
It's been making
this
me so
direction,
frustrated.
okay?
And if he
So
doesn't
that
win,
it's-
I might
my
riot.
hands would
I
have
think
been
that they're
like this
both
as opposed to like this.
abusive
Okay.
jerks.
And then sideline,
I think that
you're
I
like this.
empathize
Okay,
more
so
with
like
him
her
because he's an
head
alcoholic, and
would
that
have
is not
been
something that he chose.
like if this is
But
the body,
I think that Amber
okay,
Heard
so I would have been
is a
like
monster.
this.
I
Okay,
think
with my hands
that's
on
her name, right?
so
Amber.
the
I don't
thumbs-
even know her
so
fucking
if
name
your
because that's how
thumbs
little
connect
she
from the
means to me as a
top of
human being.
sternum
But
to
whatever
the
her name
rest of
Heard
the
is
T-bone.
the
You
fucking
compress
worst.
the rib, and as they breathe, then the rib is
Johnny Depp is the victim. I feel like he's very much a victim. I feel like she is also a victim of his like alcoholism. But she is 100% worse than him.
And sometimes you go from prone to supine to seated to, you got all these different ways to
That happen to have a foot
that's
fetish.
why I'm like,
I would
it
not
could've
be
been any
surprised
one
by
of
that,
those,
Quinn.
Positions.
I
So
wouldn't.
That's the positions I would have used for those rib techniques. And again, if she felt offended, I'm like, why didn't I sense that? And that's my burden. But anyway, so I guess.
So it seems like you obviously have, which is great, you have a very set routine that you go through with every patient. Is there any reason you can think of why you wouldn't have walked her through the steps?
Turn your head and cough would look bad to me if it weren't for it being a mainstream medical thing, as far as I know. Like, straight up. Anytime somebody is touching your genitals, like, you can, like,
Okay.
Instead of having, so
I don't know, like, if you're not super young, I feel like you, like, there's a feeling, like, you, even when you are very young, I feel like your gut
she had said that
will tell you. Self-defense to an abuser is not equally abusive. I'm not saying, I don't even think, first of all, I don't think that he,
I don't know if you
I'm not
recall
talking
that,
about,
I
like,
don't know, but that's so,
I definitely don't think he's as
okay,
bad
so
as
she
Amber
said
Heard.
that,
Please
so,
don't
like,
think,
one of the
please
videos
don't
she showed
think
me,
that I think
was the
that.
some, but
Johnny
of
only
course,
reacted
of
after
course.
years of abuse and
So
being
that's
provoked.
what she was in
It is
there
not the same.
for,
There's a lot of
that.
videos of him
She
getting
remembers
very,
being
very
in
drunk
town
early in the
and
morning,
she
just
was
screaming at her. Like,
they kinda talked about
I
that.
feel like they
So
abuse each
that's what
other,
she
and
was in
I
there. So,
feel like they should have a long time ago called it quits before it ever
on a
got this
different
far.
occasion.
I cannot believe that they let it escalate to the point where they were just getting drunk and hitting each other and shit. Like, I don't know. It's, to me, there are no winners. Neither of those people are good people in that situation to me.
Do you know if she had been in there recently as far as the follow-up would go?
Wasn't that the second time?
Okay.
I can't remember.
I hope you know that I'm not pulling a Donald Trump.
So-
There are good people and bad people on both sides. I hope you don't think that I'm doing that.
She came back?
They're both bad. Amber Heard is much worse. She's unforgivable. Johnny Depp is a victim of alcoholism,
Yeah, right. So that's
but
obviously going up to
unfortunately,
your
Amber
side.
Heard is
So,
also a
you
fucking
know, she's
victim
not
of his
alleging,
alcoholism.
that she didn't think anything inappropriate happened,
One,
you know,
two,
in her
four,
previous
five, six,
visit.
seven,
And she said that,
8. Yeah, I feel bad about that too. I feel like it is unjust what happened to him. I think that he did not
she's not
deserve
alleging anything inappropriate,
what
it
he
just
got.
stuck out in her head that she thought, you know, hey, he
I
was kinda, like,
definitely
poking
need
at my butt.
people to understand that. Addiction is not an excuse, though. You can dislike him as a person,
And
but he's
then-
still the victim of injustice and abuse. I don't mean to be rude, but this pisses me off.
Um,
I definitely, I feel
And
like I've
that's when-
explained it. Neither of them are walking away from this smelling like roses. I do not think that his career opportunities should have been affected by this. I cannot believe that she is still working. I cannot believe that she is still getting job offers. I think that she is a monster.
Because maybe that's what I'm thinking is
Fucking nobody will believe you. Do you know who says that? Fucking psychopaths. That's who.
I purposely have not.
I heard Trump and Johnny Depp and tuned back in. What did I miss? We're just talking about the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case.
And then-
If you guys want to watch
so,
that
after
a
your
little bit,
appointments,
we a
like, I
million
know
percent
it's
can.
detailed, so, like, from
We
the
can watch
visit
that
we're
stuff. I just
talking
feel like
about,
it's not
that's-
creepy
should
enough.
say, like,
But if that's something that you guys think you would,
counter strain to the, cervicothoracic rib cage, and then
what's the? I keep forgetting what I'm saying in the middle of saying it. I'm so sorry. It's so scary. I feel like I have dementia. Didn't she also get some clout or like feminist award shit or something too? Yeah, she got made into like some ambassador for some. I don't know. She's the worst. She's this guy.
Okay, so if you see HVLA in the note, that's high velocity, low amplitude. Okay, so HVLA is like.
You did get a new badge. Fun. That's the thing that really gets me. She seems to have come through it all more or less the same, but damn, he deteriorated. That's really awful to see. Agree. Full agree. Huge. Could not agree more. Agree.
Muscle energy. That's where you.
Whoa. Hold up there.
Okay, push here.
Okay.
Strain, counter strain, as you put them in a position where.
I have avoided it, but if you wanna, what are we talking about?
You try and put them in a position where it doesn't hurt. And I always say, myofascial release, you combine with the strain, counter strain, so that as they're breathing, you're releasing.
Personally, celebrity gossip doesn't much interest me, but you can do whatever you want. Yeah, fair enough. Doxy, there's a really funny true crime YouTuber called.
Okay, if I'm here to start.
I know Bose. I don't like know her. Like she doesn't know me. Like, but I know of Bose and I like her a lot. I think that she is rad.
Okay? So it's like I've been called the body whisperer. It's like, know, you feel
Fuck.
it, you know, and most of the time my eyes
I
are
might have to
closed,
go in a minute.
okay,
I don't
because
feel
I'm
good, and I keep just
doing like I'm
forgetting
doing
things.
right now, you know what I mean? Like I'm
She makes
feeling,
dark cases
you know?
easier to digest. You
and
might
that
consider
people say
watching
to
her.
me,
Yeah, I've watched
Well,
hours
you've
of
done
her.
it in
I
here,
love
I've done
her.
it. Right, yeah.
But, you know what I'm just saying,
I stand.
that's the way, because it's use the force, you know what I mean? It's like you feel it, and that's what when
I found her through destiny.
cranials were like you
I have trouble believing I'm about to say something positive about Amber Heard, but she's not Larry Nassar. I'm just saying she's a
When I
monster.
was a student, I took
She's a fucking monster.
Dr. Greenman, who was
You're right that she's not Larry
like I
Nassar.
said, wrote the book.
You're right.
20-hour course, couldn't feel it. Dr. Mitchell, Fred Mitchell, whose father invented muscle energy. I mean, these are like the gods of manual medicine. Heads of rock, I still couldn't feel it. Viola Fryman comes in from, so that was 60 hours, and I still couldn't feel it, okay? And so Viola Fryman comes in from California. She's like 70, 75, and she was an older lady, and she was older than the other two, so she was old. And I finally felt it, and it's because the way that she described it to me, to the class, you know, was that it's a triangle. It's you, the patient, and the spirit above, and it's this triangle pattern, and you have to get into
The
that
fuck?
so that because you don't want the bad stuff to come back into you, because then you get all bad. You got.
I hate Destiny now too.
It
Stuff
was
itself,
you know,
no worries.
it's this
I
conceptual
still
thing,
watch.
You know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
you're trying to get into.
I
like,
still watch
like,
every
to
now
talk
and
about how
then.
You can actually unwind them, like if they were in a car accident.
But what
As you're going through this,
an
you actually
unhinged
get
weirdo
them in the positions that
he
they went
has
through,
become.
and
I
as
don't
you
know what the
unwind
fuck
them, the
made
pain
him
goes away.
become the
It's-
dude that
it's
he
esoteric,
became.
It seems strange, but it's bizarre that, yeah, that's medical, okay? I mean, like,
Right.
and literally, you know, I'll go through gyrations with them because I'm actually unwinding them of what pattern built it in. So if they got built in that pattern, if you do a Rubik's Cube, you unwind it the right way. And
I just
you
don't
solve it in
understand
less than a
how
minute,
this lady didn't
okay?
see all these
So if you
crazy
feel the
tangents
tissue,
about a
okay,
Rubik's Cube and the spirit and fucking be like, okay, yeah, you are going to jail. You are an idiot and a monster. Like, what?
I did the releases, her range of motion doubles. You know what I mean? I can test that stuff beforehand, like I was showing with the girl sitting. I put my hand on her bum, you know, pain goes away, no, pain's still there. I change my hand, pain's gone now. Okay, I know that that's then the angle or the vector that I need to do to.
Yeah, that's
unwind
fair
it.
enough, doll lover.
Okay,
Have a
so
good night.
It's totally, yes. If I were to love her,
Denauseate.
that's natural, because she's getting length and I'm unwinding it, you know, and so that's when I finally felt the cranial bones move, was when I was able to connect.
Apparently,
That's-
Asama,
It's very powerful.
we live in fucking. This is
Right.
where
So
this is
it's-
where we deviated
that's
into
the
the
thing is,
dark
like, you know,
trajectory that the Earth took.
did
This is
I-
where the
did I
timeline
somehow-
deviated.
I obviously must have.
And
for-
we caught
reached
this
the
one
line where I was
somehow.
doing connected, like,
Do we know how
unwi-
early
you know
into
what
her
I mean?
investigation
Did
this
I get
was?
into it
I
too much, you
have
know,
no
like,
idea.
did
I also
I
don't
feel
like Vosh, but he
you know,
isn't
they're
as bad as
roles,
Destiny,
you
but
know what I
Vosh is
mean?
uncomfortable as
And
fuck
you
and has a lot of bad
just
takes.
ride the
I
body
think that Vosh is
rhythms. It's-
despicable. I think that Vosh is absolutely despicable. I have no idea how that guy is famous. He gives me
That's what
hardcore.
osteopathic
I can't say that,
malfunctions is about.
but he creeps me out. I
And it's
like the
unwinding.
vibes. I just
You can write that.
I don't
use
like that
word, but
guy.
That's a medical term for malfunction.
timeline
Unwinding,
deviated when
unwinding.
during
And instead of
this
getting to the fascia,
interrogation.
you know, it's
This is what led us to where we
I
are
don't know what to
today.
say. Do you have a rib problem? I can show you.
Right.
This guy made
Literally.
COVID.
You know, but
I'm sure at some point though that I get here, I'm gonna start feeling my aches and pains, right? So I mean that's why you're here.
Right.
You're here because it's under investigation, okay?
Right.
We want to talk to you. We want to find out what you have to say about it. And like I said, I mean, I'm just gonna go through this. I'm pretty sure I've covered everything with you that I want to cover. I just want to make sure I haven't missed anything that she said because you know I'm not gonna hide anything from you. I'm not gonna keep
No,
any secrets.
and it's
Right, obviously it's your whole profession.
Way back in the
It wasn't
90s is
just
when we
about
entered
who
the
you
dark
are,
world.
right?
the profession. It's who
This guy did
you know,
9/11,
like,
so yeah, that makes sense.
There's such an important trust, and to feel that I violated that with someone, that the sexual stuff, for you know, it's the trust. That's the.
Yeah, no, I'm with Doll Lover. This is all I can take about this.
Larry's voice begins to
For the
waver
night.
when talking
I'm gonna-
about
I
how he
gotta call
doesn't
it.
care about the sexual implications of what he.
I have to call it. I have to. Guys, we're gonna call it. I know I started late. I'm sorry. We will be early tomorrow because it's Friday. Ugh. Yeah, everyone go barf. Yeah, take it. Everybody practice self-care and go be a little bulimic right now. I'm just kidding. I don't fucking condone that. I feel like I shouldn't have to make disclaimers about the shit that I say, but I do. You have to be careful with what you say. Sorry, this is disgusting. I need a break from it. If we need something, we'll do Roman Polanski next time. Dead Hugs. What a fun name. I like your name. It's the right vibes. You have the right vibes for this place. I appreciate your follow. Thank you so much. A lot of these feel like they drag on way too long. Yeah, some of it. We need a barf command. Not really, please. Can't wait for the end of the crochet project. Me either. Dead Hugs, welcome. Everyone make sure that Dead Hugs feels welcome. Everyone go and ritually cleanse yourselves of this very, very gross person. Legit, though. I think that I'm going to go take a bath in magma. But I'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon. I would love if you would follow me on Twitter. If you're not doing that already, it's just twitter.com/ZER0DXY. I would love if you would join the Discord. That's https://discord.gg/fartslide. That'll take you right to the Discord. I have a Patreon. You get nothing for it. You get nothing for supporting me but the good fuzzy wuzzy feelings that come with supporting your favorite creator. If you feel like doing that, it's patreon.com/ZeroDoxy, ZER0DOXY. And then, yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it for me. I wish everybody a great night. I hope that you guys are all here tomorrow evening. And if I could just get you guys to tell me what your favorite horse of all time is in chat so that we can have a big, fat, girthy raid on whoever we raid on, that would be dope. I love you guys. I'm going to run ads. I'm going to find somebody to raid, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one. If you want to know what time I go live, follow that Twitter and join that Discord. Okay, bye.
What do you awful women want?
Nikas to hosting with 5 viewers.